Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to No More News. I am your host, Adam Green. Thank you all for joining me today, Thursday, September 18th, 2025. Have a huge show today. Going to be covering all the latest clips and news and updates and the fallout of the Charlie Kirk assassination, all the conspiracies. Netanyahu has addressed them again by putting out a statement. Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and Max Blumenthal have continued to talk about this. We got some clips of Nick Fuentes weighing in as well. Does not think it's an Israeli conspiracy. Jimmy Kimmel's been fired. Trump's with Starmer talking about Palestine and October 7th and a bunch of other stuff. Gonna be a huge show. It's only made possible thanks to you guys and your support. The Power Chat link is in the description below and over in the live stream pinned to the top in the live stream on Odyssey and Rumble where we are streaming live. Every dollar helps. Wouldn't be possible without you guys. Your comment will be read on screen. Always good to hear what you guys have to say. And your participation is much appreciated. Things are getting really weird. I want to start first, though, because Palantir, are you kidding me? From Chris Menahan, Palantir CEO Alex Karp, who is Jewish, given an award from the American Friends of Chabad Lubavitch on Tuesday in D.C. He told them that Jews are going to have to leave their comfort zone to find new ways to fight anti-Semitism, Palantir ways, as their current tactics, quote, are kind of not working. Or are they? Or is it happening exactly like they want for this crackdown? They need some Palantir solutions to anti-Semitism. Reminds me of Jonathan Greenblatt speaking in front of the Knesset in Israel. Remember, he said, we need some genius ideas like the pager attack to stop anti-Semitism in America. He said that some critics of Jews suffer from Jewish derangement syndrome. He said, we have to fight for rule of law. Here, hold on, let's show the headline. Palantir, Alex Karp, says Jews need to leave their comfort zone to defend the community with Chabad Lubavitch. Wild. Are you kidding me? This was yesterday. We'll read that in a second. What else does it say here? Quote, we have to fight for the rule of law, meritocratic, like meritocracy, high agency society, and everybody's going to have to help out. And that includes people who don't like to ever speak out, finance, Hollywood, all sorts of other people, he said, as reported by Jewish Insider. What was the other article? Pre-ceremony. Is this the same one? No, this is a different post. Okay, so are you kidding me, Alex Karp? Are you saying Rumble's not working? Hold on. Check the Rumble. Oh, it's not. Hold on. Great. Oh, there it is. Rumble's good. What are you guys talking about? It's working. All right, let's get audio on. First clip, Cash Patel declined to answer when they asked him about Trump's name being in the Epstein files.
Of Epstein, we have...
Remembering your oath to tell the truth, did you ever tell Donald Trump his name is in the files?
I have never spoken to President Trump about the Epstein files.
Did you ever tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
The Attorney General and I have had numerous...
Trump never talked to him and said, get to the bottom of it. He never talked to him and said, hey, cover that up. They never talked. The head of the FBI and Donald Trump never talked about
discussions about the entirety of the Epstein files and the reviews conducted by our team.
Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
And we have released where President Trump's name is in the Epstein files.
It's a simple question. Did you tell the Attorney General that the President's name is in the Epstein files?
During many conversations that the Attorney General and I have had on the matter of Epstein, we have reviewed.
The question is simple.
Who
did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files? Yes or no?
Why don't you try spelling it out?
Yes or no, Director?
Use the alphabet.
Yes or no?
No, A, B, C,
Director,
D, E, F.
it sounds like you don't want to tell us. Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name was in the Epstein files?
Sketch, so sketch. Dude, he is lying. They talked about this. They're covering it up. Of course, he's in the files.
Why don't you try serving
That's why we've been seeing all this stuff leaked out and dripped out also with Trump.
your constituency by focusing on reducing violent crime in this country and the number of pedophiles that are illegally harbored in your sanctuary cities in California? I'll work with you on that.
Regular order, Mr. Chairman.
Director,
I belong to the gentleman from California.
Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
Question has been asked and answered.
You've not answered it, and we
did not answer it
as a consciousness of guilt.
Wow, dude, he's gonna be fired, right? He's doing so bad. Now, Jared Moskowitz throws a fit at House hearing with FBI Director Cash Patel, demanding Section 230 reforms to censor anti-Israel conspiracy theories. This is, have I not been saying all along? ADL and the Jewish groups, they're the ones that want to do the Section 230. Remember, Trump was talking about it, and MAGA was talking about it. That was going to be the solution to stopping censorship. When Trump got censored, that's what he was calling for, to reform or abolish Section 230. And that's been the Jewish agenda as well, to censor anti-Israel conspiracies. Patel says he'll work with him on 230 any day. See?
Condolences on the loss. We also heard that only leftists have said that Trump is a Nazi. In 2016, the current vice president of the United States said, Trump is either a cynical asshole or he's America's Hitler. And so this is the problem. Like, I don't want to have to say this garbage, but you want me to sit here and get painted with one brush, the whole left. No, there are extremes on the left, and there are extremes on the right. And we collectively should tackle that. But to come here and just look at us and say we all support what's going on in the extremes is why we can't solve anything in this building. Director, let me say first, thank you for being here, and my condolences on the loss of your friend. And I'm happy to hear that you want to do more on the social media platforms. Okay?
More censorship.
It's crazy what's going on the social media platforms. They're
going to use Charlie Kirk to come after hate speech, come after social media. They're going to use all these Charlie Kirk assassination conspiracies to be persecuted and strengthen their victimhood and crack down on the conspiracies. Charlie Kirk truthers. That's how this is all going to play out. And remember, what did this guy say last time? We've been covering him recently, right? This is what he said.
Okay. Marjorie Taylor Greene is holding up the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act because she wants to be able to say the Jews killed Jesus.
See, this is the Jews killed Jesus crowd. The Christian-Muslim alliance, Christian anti-Semitism crowd, Christian-Muslim controlled opposition to Judaism that is pushing the Charlie Kirk conspiracies. Also all big Russian shills. To crack down on this, on the Christian anti-Semitism, on the low IQ anti-Semitism. Nick Fuentes is calling this out as low IQ anti-Semitism. I wish he'd look in the mirror and see Jews killed Jesus is the epitome of the Jewish trope blood libel talking point of low IQ anti-Semitism.
Many conspiracy theories on what's going on with Charlie. Crazy what's going on the social media platforms. There are so many conspiracy theories on what's going on with Charlie Kirk. Israel assassinated him, right? There are conspiracy theories about your personal social life all day. It is totally rampant. Big names on the right.
His social life, that's saying that his wife is accused of being a Mossad honeypot that works for PragerU. That's what he's referring to there.
Hey, it is totally rampant. Big names on the right. Candace Owens, right? Talking about how what's been released as far as the dialogue between the perpetrator and his roommate is manufactured by the FBI, manufactured by the administration.
I mean, that messages do look really sus. We're going to cover that later on. That's the one thing that I do find a little bit suspicious, is that those text messages between the shooter and his trans lover. Where are you guys at with that one? Because that one does seem a little sus. I got a clip to cover about that. You'll see what I'm talking about.
It is totally rampant, allowing foreign governments to just perpetrate these platforms, all of these bots.
Foreign government bots. They say it's Qatar, Iran, Russia, China bots.
Of the time to weaponize Americans. You see what's going on here? This is a byproduct of all of that. What's going on in the streets is a byproduct of all of that. What's happening is you see people celebrate Luigi Mangione is a byproduct of all of that. And so if we want to do something, then we should talk about Section 230. We should talk about how we're going to make sure that we don't let foreign governments poison our children's mind. And so I will work with you on that, Director.
That's what they were saying about TikTok. They're doing a hostile takeover. They forced TikTok to sell. Now they're selling it to a bunch of Zionist billionaires, of course. And they put in place a former IDF Israeli agent to monitor the hate speech and the censorship over at TikTok.
I'll work with you on 230 any day.
No problem.
See, they're both... Hey, they can agree on something. They're both going to censor anti-Semitism with Section 230. Isn't that lovely? Any day.
So, now, that was the good...
You know, that was sincere. I wonder, I'm going to have to do an advanced search and see if I have any tweets about 230. I know I've covered it several times. Trump admin, Democrats working together with the ADL to censor the internet.
We also heard...
That's what we're going to get from all of this. This is funny. Cash Patel asked, how does it feel to be Israel's bitch?
Question.
He doesn't answer.
Cash Patel, the American people want to know, how does it feel to be a cup for Israel? Is it a question?
It's a legitimate question.
On a daily basis.
You're claiming to serve the American people?
Okay, you guys want to see what I'm talking about here? Check out the congressman who introduced the new Felony Streaming Act that Trump just signed. They want to use copyright and repeal of Section 230 to sue content creators out of business. This was December 28th, 2020. I was warning about this section since they've been at this Section 230 thing. Back when Trump was in is when they were pushing for it. Felony Streaming Act? Did they pass this? Because I don't remember hearing this. Oh, Senator Tom Mills. This is the guy that introduced it too. Super Zionist. Christian Republican. Okay, here we go. I bet you I haven't.
Well, you're serving Israel. Does it feel to be Israel's bitch? You don't care about kids getting raped. The American people want to know.
He's a patriot.
Patriot?
He's a patriot.
Rape kids? Is patriotism to
Thank you for
you?
your service, Director.
Kids?
You're an idiot.
I'm an idiot? Really?
Yes, you are.
I didn't say anything.
I didn't say anything. This guy's funny. Okay, look, another one I found. I thought I would. Where is it? The next day, December 29th, 2020. So this is right before Trump left office. They were trying to push this through, the Section 230. And now, first year, Trump's back in, and Charlie Kirk's assassinated, conspiracies galore, conspiracies exploding, noticing, red pilling, the great noticing. And now for the clampdown, now for the response. Now that they got their pretext for the narrative of anti-Semitism exploding in Edom. Trump tweeted, unless Republicans have a death wish, and it is also the right thing to do, they must approve that's also get rid of Section 230. Don't let big tech steal our country, and don't let the Democrats steal the presidential election. So this is before January 6th. Before Jan 6. And I think this was probably after he had got banned. So he wanted to be able to sue Facebook and X and everybody that banned him. But this has been the agenda to censor. Speaking of agenda to censor, just a conspiracy, but here's from Chris Menahan again. Cyberwell, an Israeli... Oh, and I'm going to get the power chats turned on here right after this one. Get your comments in. Can't wait to read them. Cyberwell, an Israeli intel-linked org, is now working as a, quote, trusted partner with all major social media platforms to censor anti-Semitism, their CEO boosts. Don't they have like a dozen companies and organizations doing this already? Half of the content they flag is taken down, and their reports have been responsible for removing well over 300,000 pieces of content, CEO tells Israeli TV. They're using AI to identify anti-Semitism and automatically flag and remove hate speech. Only 1 in 3 Jews report the anti-Semitic content, she notes, urging others to do more. Just another org for anti-Semitism.
So Cyberwell is the first ever open database of online anti-Semitism, a nonprofit initiative based here in Israel that's really looking at the issue of online Jew hatred through the lens of compliance. Actually, we're a service, if you will, for the social media platforms, helping them enforce their social media policies against anti-Semitism.
More data, less hate.
Social media policies against anti-Semitism.
And they're going to be enforcing the IHRA definition. Before the huge crackdown, they need a justification, so they need the fear and the threat of the anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. This is the whole story. This is how central is Jewish conspiracies, and then anti-Semitism, and then their victimhood, and then the evil villain, stereotypical villains play out. How central is that to our culture and our political cultural discourse? The chosen people, the hatred, the baseless hatred of the chosen people, hated by all the world. And then it turns into a religion for the Christians to defend them and shield them and glorify them.
Scale. So Cyberwell now is taking, you mentioned over 10,000 examples that we've reported to social media platforms. Actually, the number is much higher at this point, around 11,500. And we believe those flags have been responsible for removing well over 300,000 pieces of content is what we estimate. Cyberwell is fighting back by taking our high integrity data on what online anti-Semitism is and actually using LLMs and generative AI to really take the brain of our human analysts and identify anti-Semitism accurately online. And we believe that this type of work is not only what's going to be able to help social media platforms automatically flag and remove hate speech that violates their policies, including anti-Semitism, but is a crucial thing to do as we look at the rollout of AI, because all of these large language models are trained on online data.
Dude, they're allowing the low IQ disinfo Christian anti-Semitism to flourish so they can justify the crackdown of all criticism and get away with whatever they want. March forth with their Zionist agenda. That's what's happening. Elon Musk buys Twitter and there's an explosion of anti-Semitism on it, and you guys can't put it together. They're boosting it with the algorithms and bots and harnessing like the organic, natural outrage to what's going on in the situation,
including anti-Semitism. So in order to accurately make sure that that data is not being amplified and that bias isn't being created in these large language models or ChatGPT-like applications, you're going to want an expert like Cyberwell to come in and give you high integrity data and an AI application that can ensure that data isn't being amplified. Since Cyberwell
when they want, they're going to shut it all down with a flip of a switch.
We have seen an increase in the rates of removal by the social media platforms. When we started this work, the average rate of removal for reported anti-Semitic content was sitting at about 20 to 25% at best. Now that Cyberwell is working as a trusted partner directly with all major social media platforms, and because of the explosion of online anti-Semitism since October 7th, we do see that that average rate of removal has gone up to about 50%. According to
a bunch of our guys are getting their accounts banned all the time. I don't even know if it's this. It could just be these Christian spurgs, these Christian-controlled op spurgs that are mass flagging.
Survey by the American Jewish Committee.
Genetics matter. A good clipper. One of my top guys just got banned yesterday. A bunch of them had anti-Judaic was.
Anti-Semitism. Actually take that extra minute to go ahead and report that anti-Semitism. I say if you've already been offended and have already been hurt by the content that you're seeing.
If you've been offended, flag it. If they get offended at anything, You say, oh, there's children in Gaza are dying. You're ethnically cleansing Gaza. They're offended. Banned. Oh, you're reading the Torah and verses about their Moshiach and their God ruling the world and playing clips of rabbis. They're offended. Banned.
Take the extra minute and go ahead and report that content. It's absolutely crucial because every report and every decision by a content moderator actually feeds the algorithms of the social media platforms themselves and improves the algorithm. We're constantly working on tools to bring to the public to help us fight back against hate online.
Dude, she's on it. She
So
is on
Cyberwell
it. It is a war. Here's Leo Terrell, Trump's DOJ anti-Semitism czar, complains about Trump not implementing the ADL plan and that they're going to do it.
I want to talk at 30,000 feet because I'm. But what did the Biden administration do on that Title VI action? You want to take a guess?
Well, you tell me. No,
They sat on it. They put it on a shelf with the rest of them.
Well, you know what? The Biden administration had. I'm going to talk at 30,000 feet because I'm a government official. But the point.
What is Hadar Golden?
Here is that the Biden had this so-called plan that was never implemented. They talk about a plan that they had.
It's an Israeli soldier.
To address anti-Semitism. And all I can simply tell you is this. When the Trump administration took office, we were thoroughly disappointed in the lack of action taken to protect Jewish Americans in every aspect of life. On the street.
At Rumble. Dude, Rumbles featuring the anti-Semitism czar complaining about not censoring enough. Are you kidding? This is at Rumble.
The administration took office. We were thoroughly disappointed.
Peter Thiel and J.D. Vance own a piece of Rumble. I think Howard Lutnick even involved. Dave Rubin, I believe. Dan Bongino, that's who runs Rumble. That's who runs Rumble.
In the lack of action taken to protect Jewish Americans in every aspect of life. On the streets, you saw the hate crimes that took place on the college campus, the denial of the right to speak on campus, nothing. And this goes to the question that you said, how do you ensure this protection? You can't. You have to make sure, even if you have the greatest laws, the most well-written settlement agreement, if you don't have the right players in place, it's not going to be enforced. And that's why we were in such a horrible situation before Trump got in, before he put his people in place, people who have committed to eliminating anti-Semitism, people who have fire in their belly. And if there's one thing, to give you another example that we haven't talked about, but I want to bring up, again, regarding Jewish safety, is the Jewish tax. The requirement of Jewish Americans to pay this exorbitant fee to walk down the street, to have events, because of the threats against them, because of the lack of protection that does not exist for them.
He said Jewish tax. I thought he meant all the kosher approved food.
That is going to change because we have to make sure, as the whole purpose of this discussion is to make sure Jewish Americans, it's not a question, should receive these rights. They're entitled under the Constitution, under Title VI, under Title VII, under the hate crime statutes.
To be
they're
coddled.
entitled to the same rights afforded to all Americans. So
do they not have this? What rights do they not have that I don't have? Dude, he said a whole lot of nothing. This was the other clip where he said the same
and I've
thing.
worked with this education secretary.
Talking about how Trump's implementing the ADL plan.
I have worked with the prior.
Meanwhile, we got Peter Thiel at Rumble and everywhere else. His company Palantir, Alex Karp, the Jewish CEO, the co-owner, just got the Chabad Award. Are you kidding me?
Our education secretary, and I've worked with this education secretary. And I credit the Biden administration for their national strategy to counter anti-Semitism, a really important document. No one had done what the Biden administration had done before in elevating anti-Semitism to a federal priority. And ADL, in full disclosure, worked with them on that. And they get a lot of credit for adopting the plan. And then I give credit to the Trump administration for actually implementing aspects of the plan and taking a strong view, again, in the face of real, not imagined, real acts of hate, real acts of discrimination. Again, we helped to write the national strategy to counter anti-Semitism.
The hammer's coming. Can't you just feel it that the hammer's coming? Is Charlie Kirk not going to be used as the turning point for the crackdown?
The Biden administration. We were deeply involved in that. We are working as well with the Trump administration. This is what we do. I have worked with...
Working with the Trump administration to carry out the ADL plan. Here's some of the highlights.
4 months.
Trump with Starmer. They're signing big tech prosperity deals.
You alone in the whole world have the power to persuade Prime Minister Netanyahu to stop the demolition of Gaza City, to stop the starvation.
Dude, look at Trump's face. He did that face. Look, he's like, I'm the only one with... That's true. I am the only one with the power to stop Netanyahu. I saw another one of these leaked reports. Insider says Trump is furious at Netanyahu for bombing Qatar and messing up Trump's Middle East peace plans. Are we going to see more Trump? There was rumor that Trump is inviting Netanyahu to come visit the White House again for the 4th time this year. They're like, to arrest him. They're going to arrest him for the assassination. I forgot who wrote that. I think it was Harrison Smith.
You alone in the whole world have the power to persuade Prime Minister Netanyahu to stop the demolition of Gaza City, to stop the starvation of Palestine, and to stop the killing of...
That's the same face he made right before he answered the Rosie O'Donnell question on the debate stage.
Civilians. If not now, when will you exercise that power to tell them to stop?
Sure.
And then for both of you...
But you do understand about October 7th.
You do understand. So believe me, I understand.
One of the worst days in the history of humanity. What happened, I have seen the tapes. Babies that are 4 months old and just chopped up to pieces. And you've seen the tapes and I've seen the tapes. You're a professional and so am I. And people forget about October 7th. I can't forget about it. So I want it to end, but I want the hostages back. I don't want the hostages used as human shields, which is what Hamas is threatening to do.
But as soon as they're back, that's the moment you will tell Netanyahu
well,
to stop.
It would certainly help, but I have to have the hostages back. And
I just saw that, first of all, they've given a bunch of the hostages back. Remember, there was a release of the captives when Trump got into office of the Gaza hostages and the January 6 people in prisoners. So October 7th, they're allowed to conquer it and ethnically cleanse it and demolish it and turn it into a freedom zone.
I don't want them back piecemeal, as I said before. I want them back.
Oh, I just saw the guy, the Israeli soldier. Oh, maybe that was the last soldier. The guy that this guy had on his head. Where is he? This guy.
But what did the Biden administration do?
Hadar. I looked up his name and it said it was the last hostage. Hamas can give all the hostages back now. There are no hostages. Okay, next clip. Starmer gets pat on the back. He gives him a pat on the back like a good guy because he brings up October 7th too.
Statehood. Why are you
in question about West Bank statehood, which the PLO is not Gaza. The PLO of the West Bank, Palestine, condemned the Hamas attack. Let's see this.
Statehood. Why are you waiting for President Trump to leave the country? Why can't you just do it right now? And isn't there a risk in rewarding Hamas?
What a question.
Well, let me be really clear about Hamas.
Why don't you he's about to recognize Palestinian statehood like many other countries are about to do. Many other Edom countries, I might add, as they would see it. Why don't you do it right here in front of Trump? Because Trump's opposed to it. Let's see that conversation.
Statehood. Why are you waiting for President Trump to leave the country? Why can't you just do it right now? And isn't there a risk in rewarding Hamas with that?
Well, let me be really clear about Hamas. They're a terrorist organization who can have no part in any future governance in Palestine. And what happened on October the 7th?
Dude, he gave him the good boy pat. Are you kidding me? Give him a pat on the back like a good boy.
Palestine. And what happened on October the 7th
That's wild.
was the worst attack since the Holocaust. We have extended family in Israel. I understand firsthand the psychological impact that had across Israel. So I know exactly where I stand in relation to Hamas. Hamas, of course, don't want a two-state solution. They don't want peace.
Oh, as if Israel does. As if Netanyahu does want a two-state solution. Give me a fucking break.
They don't want a ceasefire. So I'm very clear where I stand on Hamas. On the
That's
question
why
of
they've been building all the settlements.
I made my position clear at the end of July as to the timing, which has got nothing to do with this state visit, and I've discussed it with the President, as you would expect amongst two leaders who respect each other and like each other and want to bring about a better solution in the best way that we can. Thank you so much. Can I go back then to Robert?
Dude, the pat on the back is too much. Love that one. That's a good meme. All right, we got the TTS turned on. I believe it's turned on. Let's hear what you guys have to say about some of this. How is everybody not sick of this? I sure am. It's clown world. Trump in the same speech talking about Charlie Kirk said he would have been could have become president.
In reality, sent $20. Thank you, Adam. Been watching since 2018 and it's been quite a ride. Stay safe, please.
Indeed, it has. It's been a crazy ride.
Optics Prime sent $5
Crazier
on
by
Rumble.
the day.
KMN Goal Smashers Union, local chapter member.
Local chapter, thank you. Yeah, we've been nailing the goal the last couple streams.
Tiffany
Let's
sent
get it today.
$5 on Rumble. Adam, the deep state wants more power. They don't care if they get it from Democrats or Republicans. It's a power grab, just like that Office of Misinformation, which was not dissolved as far as I know.
Yeah, no matter what happens, they're going to try to do it to their advantage and advance their goals. Thank you, sir. Jub on Rumble. Okay, let's see Trump on Charlie Kirk. Still going. Bifurcatio.
Bifurcatia sent $5 on Rumble. When the Jew hammer drops, Thor's hammer will arise.
Well, maybe if we had Thor, we'd be the ones dropping the hammer.
$20 on Rumble. Shekels for the streams.
Thank you, Maxed Out Bear. Instead, they're dropping the Hebrew hammer on us. Well, shoveling Jesus down everybody's throat. Thank you guys for the donos. You guys are awesome. Thanks for the 20, Maxed Out Bear.
Just last week, a great American, Charlie Kirk, was heinously assassinated for speaking his mind. He was a great young man, incredible future. Some people said he might be president someday. I told him, I said, Charlie, I think you have a good shot someday at being president. And he just wanted to take care of youth. He loved youth. I've never seen anybody relate to youth like Charlie, and they related to him, and they're devastated. But I appreciate the many British citizens who have offered their condolences. And again, Charlie was a great person. We'll be going out to a service on Sunday. I'll be leaving with some of the people in this room just to celebrate Charlie and all that he's done. So incredible. Never seen anything like it. Just last week,
look, I found one more of Trump from 2023. Article from 2023, my post here. He says, what is Section 230 and why does Trump want to change it? So Trump, because of Charlie Kirk and Cash Patel and Jews on both sides of the aisle, are ready to come together and stop the hate speech, crack down on anti-Semitism with Israeli AI, with their Chabad Lubavitch anti-Semitism czar, which, by the way, where is his confirmation hearing? I got to look that up. How has he not been confirmed yet? How are the Jews not kvetching out of their minds about the Chabad Lubavitcher that Trump nominated for the anti-Semitism awareness monitor, which is an ambassador level position? Where is he in all of this? I got to look that up. All right. Netanyahu has put out 15 hours ago another statement on the Charlie Kirk conspiracies. We'll play it and then we'll read what Mike Huckabee
Charlie
says.
Kirk
and others thoughts.
Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propaganda minister.
You're Nazis. Number one, you're Nazis. Let everybody start your timers. How long before he mentions Nazis?
Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propaganda minister, said that the bigger the lie, the faster it will spread. Well, somebody has fabricated a monstrous big lie that Israel had something to do with Charlie Kirk's horrific murder. This is insane. It is false. It is outrageous.
That's the screenshot I took with him with his hands like this for the thumbnail. I thought it was particularly good, the thumbnail today. Right? Hold on. Look at Netanyahu in this thumbnail. Looks like he's like ready to butcher a baby or something. Okay.
Charlie Kirk was a giant, a once-in-a-century talent who defended freedom, defended America, defended our common Judeo-Christian civilization. Charlie loved Israel. He loved the Jewish people. He told me so in a letter that he sent me just a few months ago. One of my greatest joys as a Christian, he said, is advocating for Israel and forming alliances with Jews to protect Judeo-Christian civilization.
I mean, everything he's saying there about Charlie is true. Everything I ever saw from Charlie was that. Being the biggest shill around. Being total gatekeeper and the most hardcore Zionist propagandist around. Until the last couple months, or until October 7th in the last few years. And he started to have some mild criticism that were like done with good intentions to try to like do what was best for the Jews, if anything.
He encouraged me to make the case directly to the American people about how vital Israel is to U.S. national security. He told me, the Holy Land is so important to my life, it pains me to see support for Israel slip away. Now, if Charlie disagrees...
Even in his last days, this conspiracy about him going to be summoned to a retreat by Bill Ackman, it was Charlie Kirk planning the retreat to bring to have a Jewish billionaire connected to Netanyahu, Bill Ackman, influence a bunch of young influencers to be better Zionist propagandists. That was like his last, that was the event in the last month that he did. The day before Charlie Kirk was killed, he was on the phone, he was on a Zoom call with hardcore Zionist propagandists.
Optics Prime sent $5 on Rumble. He had disagreements with the administrations, not the state of Israel or the Jewish people.
Exactly. Like, he'll have issues with some of Netanyahu's policies, although Tucker Carlson claims Kirk privately told him that he thought Netanyahu too much power, which I wouldn't doubt. He probably did think that. How could you not notice that and have a visceral reaction to it? He was groomed his whole life to be a Zionist golden boy, but then he was starting to have a little bit of independence, not be pushed around and told what to do, possibly. But he didn't have to be. He wanted to. He wanted to defend Israel. He was a sincere, believing Christian, Judeo-Christian Zionist sheep. That's what I think.
National security. He told me, the Holy Land is so important to my life, it pains me to see support for Israel slip away. Now, if Charlie disagreed with a policy of mine or a decision here and there, not only did I not mind, I welcomed it. This is the essence of Charlie. This is the essence of a free country. It's exactly what Charlie stood for. And I knew that his suggestions always came from the heart, from his love for Israel and from his love for the Jewish people. A few weeks before his death, I spoke to Charlie. I invited him to visit Israel again. And sadly, that won't happen. Now
So part of the conspiracy is they're saying that Charlie rejected that invitation.
$5. Never in history have the elitist class tried to hoodwink the public with the existence of social media and instant documentation and communication. It'll be that versus AI.
I know, we're in crazy times. We are definitely in crazy times. So this conspiracy goes that Charlie rejected some money from some Zionist, which I haven't seen the receipts for that, and that he rejected this invitation. But I did see that he was scheduled to go to Israel in January for to speak at some type of pro-Israel event.
Peddling these disgusting rumors, perhaps out of obsession, perhaps with Qatari funding. What I do know is this. Charlie Kirk...
It's weird that he would mention Qatari funding, but he wouldn't mention Russia funding, which seems to be a whole lot more evidence for than Qatar funding. It's weird that he wouldn't say that. They're always blaming Qatar, but never Russia. Isn't that kind of weird?
Was a great man, and a great man deserves honor, not lies. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. May your memory be a blessing.
May his memory be a blessing for the Jews, for his Judeo-Christian mission. Now, Tucker and Megyn Kelly and others are being critical of Netanyahu for trying to politicize and use Charlie's death to his advantage, which I think he is doing, in completely legitimate criticism that everybody should be calling out. But they're not actually saying that he killed them, just that they're taking an advantage and trying to control the narrative. But I think he's addressing this because the victimhood, giving them an opportunity to talk about the tropes, the Nazis, the evil, blaming us for killing God, blaming them for eating babies, blaming them for everything under the sun. There's a very famous accusation against a Jew that he was a traitor, the Dreyfus affair. And this is basically like a modern day Dreyfus. It'll go down like a modern day Dreyfus affair, blaming Netanyahu and Bill Ackman and a shadowy cabal of Jews for assassinating Charlie. The Charlie trutherism is going to lead to a similar situation as that, which they use and bring up all the time to justify their victimhood and be the pretext for their big anti-Semitism crackdown. Mark my words, bookmark it. That's all that's going to come about from this. From this great awakening, great noticing that's going down. And it is largely low IQ anti-Semitism, much of it. Which actually just runs cover for what they're doing. Ambassador Mike, look at the fallout and look at the reaction. Look at all the media and the positions of influence and the politicians. They're not going along with Israel did it. They're going to go along with the narrative that anybody saying Israel did it should be shut down. And then to honor Charlie's legacy, they're going to shut down. They're saying, we're going to shut down the radical left. They're going to go after the anti-Zionist left and anti-Zionist anybody. That's all that's going to happen. Ambassador Mike Huckabee says it's painful to see people back in the U.S. attempt to get clicks and make money by making up outrageous lies while exploiting the death of Charlie Kirk, whose impact and character the propagandists will never have. Netanyahu sets the record straight, he says. Exploiting the death of Charlie Kirk. That is what Netanyahu is definitely doing.
Joseph Goebbels.
And they're going to exploit the conspiracies about it as well. Max Blumenthal says, unbelievable overcompensation. Netanyahu is shook. He's ratioing Netanyahu on this. 46,000 likes to Netanyahu's 33,000 likes. But it doesn't matter. Twitter doesn't matter. Twitter is a dead internet echo chamber. And in the real world, this is just going to be deemed as another kooky anti-Semitic blood libel conspiracy that they're going to use for more of a power grab and for more victimhood and to mobilize more Judeo-Christian Charlie Kirks to defend Israel and oppose anti-Semitism. That's where this is going. Mark my words. Already, here's the Israeli agent from PragerU and Eric Metaxas, another big Christian. Listen to listen to the narrative.
Dennis has been in the hospital, and you got to give it to Charlie. He's called, visited, met with Dennis. The last time Charlie visited with Dennis, he brought him his manuscript for his next book. Do you know what his next book is going to be about?
About the Sabbath.
Charlie Kirk was not turning against Israel and they had to assassinate him. He was coming out with a book about how great the Jewish Sabbath is.
A special relationship with the Jewish people, especially with Dennis Prager. Charlie's being used again for lies.
Yeah, it's despicable. There are people who have an animus against Israel or the Jews. I don't get it. Even if you don't agree with every policy of Netanyahu, if you love Jesus, you love Israel.
You brought up the spirit of the
policy of Netanyahu. If you love Jesus, you love Israel.
You brought up the spirit of the comment, Christ is King, and it does bring me back.
And this is why they promote Jesus and Christianity so much. This is why Ben Shapiro is donating money to advance Christ, because advancing Christ is advancing Israel, because it's the Jewish Messiah.
9/11 Truth sent $5 on Rumble. Adam, did you see the video of the possible real shooter? I'll link it below.
I've seen lots of videos claiming to be secret shoulder guns and secret guys over here and trap doors and hand signals. I find none of it convincing at all. I'm sorry. None of it.
You love Israel.
You brought up the spirit of the comment, Christ is King, and it does bring me back to the time where there was that social media storm.
It's not like I disagree with the statement, Christ is King, but the spirit in which it was being said.
Using God's name in vain?
It has the trappings of God to use God's name in vain. That's what it is. That's diabolical.
But for me, that was that first moment where I said, this is not what my Christian friends have taught me.
Well, because you have the right Christian friends. You have Christian friends who are actually Christian.
See, internet Christians, e-crusaders, you're not even like 0.0001 of all the Christians in the world, all the ones with all the power and the influence in running the churches of all the denominations. Nothing. You are considered heretics. You are considered not real Christians. You're considered antichrist. You'll be laughed out of there if you say, synagogue of Satan, Jews killed Jesus, and Jesus wasn't Jewish. You'd be laughed out, thrown out, excommunicated. And this is the narrative, and this is what we get. And all you do is run cover for it and enable it. And this is going to be the narrative. Just like 2,000 years of Jews being blamed for killing Jesus, they're going to go, oh, just like Jews killing Jesus, they're saying the Jews killed Charlie Kirk. He is the new Jesus, basically. He is the new Christian martyr, the Zionist angel in heaven.
Many of them, including Charlie, sat down and explained to me that this is abnormal.
There's nothing more satanic, nothing more evil than using religious language to speak lies. Charlie's death is...
This is why they mobilize the Christian establishment and institutions. They put their foot down and they go, you anti-Semitic Christian e-crusaders on the internet, you will not sin in the name of Christianity, sin in the name of Jesus. So they rise up to be the defenders, and you're not going to overcome it. So all you're doing is circling the wagons. It's all part of the whole Judeo-dialectic.
To speak lies. Charlie's death is going to result not just in an explosion of patriotism, but in revival. People who are kind of wondering or on the fence are...
Patriotism and revival. The great Judeo-Zionist revival now. The war against anybody that's anti-Yahweh. That's the narrative going forth. That's the revival.
Revival. People who are kind of wondering or on the fence are going to seek out and find the God of the Bible, find meaning in their lives. And I believe that we're at a sacred moment right now.
Well done, Charlie.
Amen.
He sacrificed his life. His martyrdom will bring the revival of the Judeo-Christian West, the Noahhide revival, right? And for people that are saying that Charlie was turning and he secretly hated them, just 2 weeks ago, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, he addressed Candace Owens, most likely Candace Owens, and says that it's poison. The anti-Semitic rhetoric is poison, he called it, which is what he always said. He also calls this guy Eric Metaxas. He's a big Christian influencer. He led the Jericho March thing that they had before January 6th and Stop the Steal. Charlie Kirk is the Bonhoeffer of our time. He was the Christian that opposed the Nazis and got killed, I believe. I believe he was killed. The modern-day Bonhoeffer fighting the Nazis. He was never silent in the face of evil, meaning Christian anti-Semitism or Islam, and was therefore as powerful a witness for the faith as anyone could be. His bold Christian witness will be multiplied dramatically in his martyrdom. God is good. Praise the Lord. Praise God for having Charlie shot for the greater good of bringing everybody to be mass Noahhide awakening. Charlie's critique of negative Jewish influence was only secular Jews. That's the biggest clip that I saw. Although he did say that Netanyahu, October 7th could have been a stand down, and that they wanted to ethnically cleanse Gaza. That's not really towards the secular Jews. The Dreyfus reference makes sense. It popped in my head immediately, like that comparison. That's their famous, they falsely accused somebody of some, traitorous thing. But it is very similar to blaming Jews for killing Jesus from their narrative. You'll say, watch, we'll start seeing that comparison. You can bet your life on it. 8,000 likes on that, by the way. Candace Owens now, so shameful, walking back her statement saying, "It's crazy. I never once said that Israel murdered Charlie Kirk, but the Zionists are all repeating that without a shred of evidence." Now she's walking back her whole week of defiantly standing up to getting to the truth, and she doesn't believe all this stuff. Now she's walking it back. Even Max Blumenthal and Tucker and everybody, they're all making it clear they're not saying Israel did it, while they keep telling you all these reasons that they did. Very, very sneaky. It's like, if you're going to stand on your word, you should probably stand on it. But she says, remember, if they aren't lying, they aren't breathing. Well, apparently, there's somebody made a compilation of her never once saying Israel did it. Let's roll the tape. I haven't watched this yet. Roll the tape and judge for yourselves. This should be a good little compilation of highlights from her in the last week.
That he was publicly executed again before the world. The question is why? There's one person who's been out there acting like he is a widow, just saying the absolute most, tweeting first about what happened to Charlie. Bibi Netanyahu, in fact, I know for a fact that he is misrepresenting some things that happened there towards the end.
The Islamists, the radical Islamists, and their union with the ultra-progressives, but they got Charlie Kirk, and it's just heartbreaking.
Who is they, Bibi? Who is they? Who got?
The radical left and the anti-Zionist Muslims. That's who he's saying. Who he just said, obviously. She's all over the place, yeah. We're going to play some clips, too, of Nick is really raking her over the coals, saying, where are the receipts? And like, you're backing it, not the drums.
Charlie Kirk. Because you said a lot there, but it really sounded like it was about Bibi trying to establish a narrative that we saw reinforced by a lot of people. That Charlie kind of made it almost sound like he died for Israel. Bibi Netanyahu, in that phone call, which took place was a couple of weeks ago before Charlie lost his life. Charlie was in the Hamptons, and he had an intervention was staged by Bill Ackman. Charlie's rash.
An intervention was staged. Bill Ackman posted the DMs, and a bunch of people that were there at that retreat. It was at some hotel that Bill Ackman, the Jewish billionaire, paid for, but it was Charlie that wanted to set up to bring a bunch of conservatives there and do it. It was his initiative. This is what he did. He just had the focus group talking about the kids, about anti-Semitism, the struggle session focus group, damage control, trying to take back the conversation.
Thoughts about Israel were a no-no. Bill Ackman was very upset, and threats were made. It was at this time that Bibi Netanyahu was called, and Charlie was invited to Israel. This was an under duress situation, I would say.
How is she know? Does she say that she talked to Charlie about any of this? Did Charlie tell her all of this? Does she have text messages or emails from Charlie telling her this? Where is she? Does she say how she gets this information? Because I haven't seen any receipts from her, but all the people she accused came out with all the DMs and all the corroborating accounts. Even Charlie's own producer and his team all said it. She claims she has the letter. Yeah, she talks about Netanyahu's letter. She's like, he needs to release it. He's misrepresenting it. How does she know what's in the letter? Did Charlie BCC her, blind carbon copy his message to Netanyahu to Candace?
When I started asking
Yeah, she's getting sued for the Macron stuff. I just saw that like they're going to show her vagina or something to prove she's wrong. And she claimed that she didn't want the case. She wanted to go to trial, Candace, but now she's calling for the case to be dismissed.
Sensible questions about Israel, I was met with the very same pressure. You know, I got to tell you that it felt like a threat, like this is your last chance. And I know that Charlie was offered a ton of money in this moment. And Turning Point, I guess, if it needs to go to a higher level.
He was always offered a ton of money from Jews. That is not new.
Would have gone to an even higher level than it already was at. And I know for a fact that Charlie...
Isn't she a charlatan? She's like flat earth, Khazarians, Frankist, Christ is king, turns Catholic. Like, you guys know I've been critical of Candace all along. It's not like all of a sudden I'm disagreeing with her because she's onto the truth. No, I think she's an idiot. I'm with Nick. Nick's calling her out. I think she's an idiot. At best, an idiot. And by the way, why is she still on YouTube? She's some big whole thread. Everybody's out to get her, right? But she's on YouTube. She has 300,000 people watching her on YouTube. Everybody else that was on these topics years ago gets banned from YouTube, but she's allowed to spew whatever on YouTube.
Denied that funding. That Charlie denied, and what Bibi didn't include there, he declined to go to Israel for, I would describe this as like, you know, re-education camp. Charlie said no to Bibi. You're not going to gaslight us and tell us to shut up or call us anti-Semitic for pointing out that...
She's just like she's like a Shaniqua. Like, just the way she, like, her presentation about all of this just comes off as just like...
fact that Charlie was having a change of heart about the tactics that Israel was using in America, and that he felt when he had left that meeting that he had effectively been blackmailed.
How do you know this?
Charlie get shot in the throat. That feels a little bit symbolic. It feels like they wanted us to know that his voice was problematic. It's not a good sign if somebody even has to ask if you did have anything to do with the assassination. It doesn't make you a great person, okay? And that's what she asked him. Take a listen.
Dude, who puts the drums in this like that?
He's mentioned the Holocaust. Guess we can't prod the narrative any further, guys. Holocaust. So everybody's just stopped talking about anything. We're sick of this shit. We really are. And there will be no narrative that I will not prod when it comes to figuring out why people are lying about the state that Charlie was in when it came to the topic of Israel. He was starting to talk about topics that you're not...
Because they're trying to exploit it, and he was always a big Zionist, even if he was having some disagreements. They're still going to try to say he's a Zionist, obviously. But she actually hasn't said Israel did it. She hasn't accused Israel of killing them in any of these clips, which I guess was supposed to be proven here.
Jocelyn
I never once said Israel murdered.
on
She
Rumble.
hasn't said that.
Andrew Colvett, Kirk's exec producer and friend, said absolutely nothing like that happened in the Hamptons, said it was productive and totally non-confrontational.
That's right. I saw that. Charlie's team said it was totally, and everybody was like, yeah, that's what I saw. And then even weird enough, Adam King gets dragged into it. Candace Owens tweets, she says, Adam King was there. He was on the list. Where's the list? She hasn't shown a list. Adam King says he was not there. If he was, I suspect he'd be taking pictures and posting about it and bragging about it, that he was there at this big Jewish Zionist influencer event, like all the rest of the influencers were there did. Just bizarre.
Really allowed to talk about when you take money and big checks are being written.
Yeah, the drums are so stupid.
Every single day. In fact, he was telling the truth even about Jeffrey Epstein. You know exactly who you were that were exerting pressure. Don't you pretend to be noble now and say nice things about Charlie Kirk and think you're going to slide into his chair. Okay? Over my dead body, which I'm sure can be
Bucks $89,700. It's been a while since I last caught one of your live streams. Here's my contribution. Can I have a signed copy of your book?
Absolutely. You got it. Just remind me when it's out, and I will get you a copy signed. Whatever it takes to do that, I will do that. Adam King suing Candace was not on your 2025 bingo card. I don't know.
Thornbury Dome sent $5.
He's just happy he got mentioned.
This murder helps Zionism, just like the fake Trump shooting. It'd be nice to examine conspiracy theories. There are several suspicious inconsistencies.
Well, what do you think I've been doing for the last 4 shows? Going into every bit of the conspiracies. That's all we've been doing. We're doing it today. Showing you all sides what people are saying.
Kind of strange that nobody at the
She's a Goyslop agent. That's what I know. Whether she knows it or not.
Anything. Everyone's a little hush-hush right now and trying to manipulate me into not speaking. Now is not the time. No, it's the time. A lot of people that I'm looking at. Okay. It's all these people have is threats, lawsuits, contracts, lawyers. I'm sick of it. I am sick of it. And now, does all of this mean that Bibi Netanyahu and that this somehow proves that Israel was involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk? No, we have no evidence of that. We can't say that because there is no evidence of that. Go, Candace, go, but be careful. No one was more careful than Charlie Kirk, and he still got a bullet in the throat.
Dude, this is crazy. Why even do this video? Roll the tape. Yeah, she literally said she's not saying Israel did it, and she didn't want to say Israel did it. So fail Nathan Livingston on this video. So she didn't say it. So all those clips sounded to me like she's just mad that they're exploiting it and they're not being completely honest about what had recently gone down with Charlie. Now here, Candace has called out Charlie's pastor. This is Charlie's pastor is going viral this morning with these clips calling out Candace.
Let's
see this.
You know, there's discussion about his views on Israel. What I can tell you is that Charlie believed, and I was with him in Korea. That was the last trip we took. It was last week, and he was wanting me to go to Israel to start a work there. That was his request of me, and I know that he believed the Jews had an ancestral right to the land. He believed that Jews are God's chosen people. He believed in the sovereignty of Israel. He also believed Ezekiel 37 that there was to be a political nation first and a spiritual nation second. And so he would be accused of being an anti-Semite because he would separate that you can question the political government of Israel. But you stand with the realization that the Jews are God's chosen people. They have an ancestral right to the land. But you can also, like we do with our own government, call them out when they're wrong. And I was on a text stream with him and Orthodox rabbis and Orthodox believers, and he would lay this out. He would lay it out, and he would glean from that, and then he'd be on the other side where he's trying to understand, Tucker's position and everyone else's, because he was trying to build the bridge for young people 18 to 30 that were not.
Zordaridum sent $5. I will be interested to see if Owens et al. Turn out to truly flop. That other TPUSA members would defend their mafia donors after their head was murdered? So hard to believe? Last message didn't play right. But AI voice works again, I guess.
It's working. It's working.
18 to 30 that
Thank you.
were non-traditional conservative voters.
Right.
These are kids that were sick and tired of watching their peers die in the 1040 window in the Middle East in wars put forward by the industrial war complex, and to see them dying in villages and hamlets of the names they couldn't pronounce, and then abandon them and come back and they're still the walking wounded because they've got PTSD, they've lost friends. And what did they fight for? And they leave billions and billions of dollars in American equipment. They were disillusioned.
Why did they not clip this
government,
out?
And this is what Charlie always pushed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't let your distrust of government exceed your trust in God. It's okay to question, but trust the Lord.
It's okay to question, but don't question God. Don't question Yahweh and his chosen people. and the book they wrote. Books they wrote. Candace told off Charlie's pastor. Let's see here what she has to say about that guy. I think he tweeted about her too. I might have played it in the last stream. I can't remember.
Lastly, I want to say to this like new flex operation mocking pastor, regarding which, by the way, the first time they went after Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, a source told me,
Candace Owens,
confirmed, I'm going to find this out, that $100
she's so sass, she's so brat,
was spent on that.
Kills me.
And it came from Bibi Netanyahu. I would like to figure out if that's true. But anyways, obviously investigating this, and I'm not going to let it go, okay? You're not going to emotionally use some jujitsu, and I'm referring here to Roy or Rob McCoy, who says, I'm Charlie's pastor, and here's the truth, or whatever it is.
Jujitsu?
The other way, right?
Jujitsu? Stop. Cool it, Candace. Jujitsu? Dude, why is my clip
with the anti-Semitic remarks?
Yeah, Candace is just like, her investigation goes
Jew,
like
guilty, you're a Jew, doesn't matter right now, okay? You're not going to tell me that I have to feel too bad to investigate who shot my friend in front of my face. So stop the nonsense. This is what Charlie's pastor passed around to all of the people that were intimidating Charlie leading up to his death. It's funny that Charlie's pastor couldn't find his voice when Bibi Netanyahu was lying about Charlie. Here's pastor. You know what he's saying are lies. No, he didn't find his voice saying anything about Bibi Netanyahu. Candace investigating things? Yeah, that's got to stop. Here's what he wrote, okay? What's his name? Rob McCoy. Good. He wrote, Charlie Kirk was my friend and I was his pastor. I want to simply say this regarding Candace Owens. Charlie Kirk was a friend to Candace and never publicly spoke poorly of her, though he disagreed with her. He never operated nor entertained gossip or innuendo concerning Candace. My only comment I offer regarding Candace is this. I only wish at this tragic time of mourning, she would be the friend to Charlie Kirk that he was to her. He would never have treated Candace or her family in such a way had, God forbid, this tragedy been hers. A friend loves at all times. And he drops a biblical proverb. Now, let me say this, okay? I hope that Charlie.
You think that if Candace was assassinated, that Charlie would blame the Jews, say the Jews did it?
Okay. I hope that Charlie would have been the sort of friend that I'm being. Okay. He would have never. Why? Why wouldn't Charlie Kirk have investigated if I had been killed and we were being so obviously lied to? I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong. I think Charlie was a real friend and he would not have dropped it. He would not have let it go. Least of all, because he was being emotionally manipulated by a guy who curiously kept his mouth shut when Bibi lied. You knew, if you were really his close friend and pastor, how he was feeling about Bibi Netanyahu. You knew, if you were his close friend and pastor, exactly the names of everybody who was intimidating him and how poorly they are misrepresenting the things that he believed. So why don't you focus on being more honest as a pastor and giving as much information as you can possibly provide so that we can continue this investigation? If you can't do this, I'm going to have to ask for your silence. Okay? Be quiet.
Dude. She is off-putting to me. What do you guys think? Off-putting? Charlie Kirk tragedy has sparked a revival. People in America are waking up to Hashem.
Believers, everyone asks why. When something like this happens, when a horrific evil like this happens, the first question, of course, Christians, non-Christians, believers, non-believers, everyone asks why. Mm-hmm. And I think if you are a believer, you have an answer already, because, and this is what I've been sort of toying with, playing with in my mind, is that when we see these, it's a revival. It is an awakening. Mm-hmm. It is a spiritual awakening that's going on, and that it's God.
Judeo-Christian awakening.
God is using this revealed evil
Brittany
to also
97
reveal
said $5
himself.
some shekels for support.
When something like this happens,
Thank
when
you.
a horrific evil like this
Confirm not
happens,
Jewish.
The first question, of course, Christians, non-Christians, believers, non-believers, everyone asks why. Mm-hmm. And I think if you are a believer, you have an answer already, because, and this is what I've been sort of toying with, playing with in my mind, is that when we see these, it's a revival. It is an awakening. It is a
revival. That's the whole narrative we're pushing. Christian revival. Now, this is interesting. I've been seeing people talking about this guy. His channel is, I think it's called like Predicting the Future. This Asian dude. Somebody sent me a link to his video the other day. I'd never seen him before. I hadn't watched the video yet, but Richard Spencer is gonna do an interview with him soon, I heard. Predictive history on YouTube. He's got I think he's got 500,000 followers on YouTube.
World to hate them.
People are sharing this clip. Let's hear what he has to say.
Right? We have the technology to do this.
Oh my God.
So Israel could do it secretly, and
does it mark the next step in Jewish end times eschatology? That's what he's talking about. Do this.
Fast cancer, right? We have the technology to do this. So Israel could do it secretly, and no one would talk about it. And in 20 years' time, 30 years' time, the population of Gaza would all be gone. It would be a very secret, right? Instead, they choose to do this in front of the world. And my argument to you is that this is intentional. They want the world to hate them. Because by doing this, they...
Oh, dude! He's got it. He knows about the prophecy of all the world hating them, all the nations coming against them in the end times. The Christian-Muslim alliance, the anti-Semitism rising in Edom and coming against Israel. The whole world betraying and abandoning Israel. Donald Trump possibly betraying and turning his back on Israel or Netanyahu. He's tapped in.
Create the ultimate taboo in front of the world.
The ultimate... Okay, this is awesome. I'm not going to interrupt again. The ultimate taboo, hating the Jew. The ultimate taboo is being a Nazi and hating the Jew. It rhymes.
Fast cancer, right? We have the technology to do this. So Israel
Zordaridum sent $5 rest of message. Owens answered your questions in her presentations. You should examine more carefully. Kirk death helps Zion like fake Trump shooting. I'm concerned you seem eager to dismiss anti-Israel angles. I want to protect our integrity too.
I want to have true anti-Israel labels. Have I denied that this is, they're capitalizing on this? They're exploiting this? They're taking advantage of this? No, that's what I am saying. That is clear. That is apparent. They would do that even if it was a crazy leftist that did it. And regardless what I believe, regardless with how many conspiracies online, I think what this guy's saying, this is my take, it's all just going to be used and judoed back to their advantage of their narrative of everybody coming against them, and they're going to use their puppets, the Judeo-Christian institutional powers, the Abraham Accords, the politicians, to advance their agenda, using this to their advantage. All right, let's go. I'm not going to interrupt. This is I hope I'm not overhyping in my head, but I like where he's going so far.
Fast cancer, right? We have the technology to do this. So Israel could do it secretly, and no one would talk about it. And in 20 years' time, 30 years' time, the population of Gaza would all be gone. It would be a very secret, right? Instead, they choose to do this in front of the world. And my argument to you is that this is intentional. They want the world to hate them. Because by doing this, they create the ultimate taboo, right? We find this disgusting and contemptuous, so the entire world will unite against Israel. But guess what? That's what their religion wants. In the extreme form of Jewish eschatology, or the religion, they believe that at the end of the world, Israel will fight the entire world, and God will help Israel triumph in the end. So what's really happening in Gaza is that there are extremists within the Israel government who want to accelerate the process of the end of the world, where Israel will face the world. And if you think about it, the entire idea of this ritual sacrifice is to unite the Israeli population. And what's extremely disturbing and horrifying about it is that this works.
It works. It's working.
Why? Well, let's use an analogy, okay? The analogy...
all the Christians and the Muslims turning against the Jews, that makes it that they like it that way. That's how they know their win. That's why they have so much confidence. They're supposed to. That's the plan. The opposition is following their eschatology that converges in and is intertwined with Jewish end times prophecies. They're all trusting the plan. But who wrote the plan? Who's got the secrets of the plan? And who's pulling the strings to carry out the plan?
About it is that this works. Why? Well, let's use an analogy, okay? The analogy is this. In Chinese history, the most popular military stratagem is to fight with a river behind your back. You guys have heard of this strategy, right? Where, okay, an army is losing, okay? It's being scattered by the enemy. So what the general does is forces the army to retreat to a river. And now with a river blocking your escape, you have a choice. You can either drown in the river or you can fight to the death. And most soldiers will choose to fight to the death. And so at this point, the soldiers are unified, they're galvanized, they're energized, and then they find a surge of energy to go and destroy their enemy. Okay, this is the most popular military stratagem in ancient Chinese history. And
yeah, the Jews always talk about this. The anti-Semitism strengthens them. It refines them. It unites them. It makes them more anti-Gentile. It makes them wage war harder. All of those things.
Guess what? It's the same as Israel doing this right now in Gaza. It's the same logic.
All right. Interesting. Here's his YouTube channel. Death by Meritocracy. Okay, this is the one they sent me. Look, Geostrategy. Is Putin the Ubermensch? And why the West is doomed? I want to watch that one and that one. The Messianic Calling. I might watch that one too. Game Theory. Decline and Fall of the American Empire. All right. We'll check those out later. We'll see. Check out a little bit more from the Chinaman. What's his name? Predictive History. Cornell West storms off set during debate over Charlie Kirk's murder. So this is with a back and forth with Andrew Wilson.
You see, this brother right here says, well, all leftists want to see me dead. Well, I'm a leftist. I don't want to see you dead. I'm a Christian.
You called Trump's administration a neo-fascist movement, you lunatic. People have gone out
You're
of your
absolutely
way.
right.
You have gone out of your way.
No, let me make the case.
Do everything
Let me make the case.
This.
Let me make the case.
Oh, yeah,
Will you allow me to speak,
case.
brother? Come on, man. Come on. No, you haven't made the case. If you think I've made the case, then you're not interested in dialogue.
You just said this brother over here said this.
You're very, very different than Brother Charlie, man. You're very different than Charlie, though, man. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
and I can make
the case for that, people
too.
Like you that got that man killed, sir.
No. There are such a thing as neo-fascists.
He's got the biggest gap in between his teeth.
Pierce, why you have a brother on who's not going to allow nobody to speak, man? We're just wasting time. If all you're interested in is making your money, and you bring this brother on it, and nobody can say a word, and we can't even mourn Brother Charlie passing. I had dialogues with Brother Charlie. This brother's going to say, oh, this kumbaya and so forth. No. Charlie was made in the image of a loving and mighty God. I believe that. I say my prayers for Sister Erica and the kids because this brother wants to trash my Christian sensibility. And look at him laughing now. It's a joke, man. Pierce, it's not worth it.
Is Charlie Kirk part of the neo-fascist movement?
Not with this brother.
Is he part of your neo-fascist movement?
Not with this brother.
Yeah.
When Charlie himself says that he is against civil...
I mean... Just saying somebody's a neo-fascist movement doesn't mean that you want them killed. Just as much as when a Republican says they're communist, it doesn't mean they want them killed. Or if I say, it's Zog, it's a bunch of Zionists, that doesn't mean I want them. You see what I'm saying? That's what the argument is here, and I don't buy it necessarily.
Does that make him a proponent of Jim Crow when he calls Martin Luther King Jr. an awful human being and a scumbag?
There it is.
I'm critical of that. I am critical of that. You're absolutely right, Brother Wilson. You're absolutely right. But all you're going to do is be arrogant. You're arrogant just like the so-called leftists you're talking about. But Pierce, you making your money, brother. Go on and make your money, man.
It's all about making.
Not worth it.
Cornell,
this brother
it's all about
here
making
is
money.
part of the problem. This other brother who has a deep connection to Charlie, he's willing to at least listen. But this brother's not willing to
Cornell,
listen.
can you sit down? I would like you to remain part of the debate.
This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. He's smoking his cigarettes with his arrogant self. Come on, man. We don't have enough dialogue at all.
Surely you're not going to walk out in a debate about dialogue.
More? Go on and make your money, man.
Right. Well,
make your money.
It's farcical to quit a debate where we're literally debating about the importance of free speech and being able to listen to each other's opinions, which seems to me completely insane.
Crazy. All right, now here's some of the Tucker clips. Let's see this one.
Opposite of the one you hope that. You hope that Charlie Kirk's death won't be used by a group we now call bad actors to create a society that was the opposite of the one he worked to build. You hope that. You hope that a year from now, the turmoil we're seeing in the aftermath of his murder won't be leveraged to bring hate speech laws to this country. And trust me, if that does happen, there is never a more justified moment for civil disobedience than that, ever. And there never will be. Because if they can tell you what to say, they're telling you what to think. There is nothing they can't do to you because they don't consider you human. They don't believe you have a soul. A human being with a soul, a free man, has a right to say what he believes, not to hurt other people, but to express his views. You hope that. You hope that Charlie Kirk's death won't be used.
Yeah. See, that's what the concern is. They're not saying he did it. They're saying they're using him for their Zionist agenda.
Tough as I do when I have
which is what they had always done with Charlie. That was his whole job, as advancing the Zionist agenda.
Surrounding him.
And for Benjamin Netanyahu, who really tormented Charlie, we talked about it many times, he tormented Charlie and his advocates tormented Charlie. For him to run around saying that Charlie died for Israel is just too much. It's just disgusting. And as his friend, I feel more bound to say
statement was out of line. No, I agree with you.
What do you mean he tormented Charlie? He says he's got text messages too. He threatens releasing text messages. I don't think, if you're going to say, I don't know. I hope he comes out with the text messages. We need receipts.
For him to run around saying that Charlie died for Israel is just too much. It's just disgusting. And as his friend, I feel more bound to say that.
That statement was out of line. No, I agree with you. And I never talk about Bibi Netanyahu. I don't really, I don't think much about him. I just don't. I had the opportunity to interview him a couple months ago and I declined. I'm just not, no, I just don't want to. I didn't want to platform him. I didn't actually, frankly, want to do all the work that I would have to do to sufficiently interview him in a way that would be, tough, as I do when I have any foreign leader in my crosshairs. I just wasn't interested. Whatever. For him to do what he did was wrong. It was a moral wrong to sit out there and read part of Charlie's letter and try to have the final say on Charlie's pronunciations about Israel. And he knew that they weren't the full story. And he's a foreign leader. He's not an American leader. So how dare he? At best, you come out there, you say, I'm so sorry for this loss. My prayers to his family. That's it. He was out of line, Tucker. And I, as not even a Netanyahu critic, saw it very clearly and talked about it today on the show, too.
Can I ask you about next step?
Surrounding him.
And for Benjamin Netanyahu, who really tormented Charlie, we talked about it.
I want to see how he was tormented. Here we go. Here's more.
He felt that he did not like Bibi Netanyahu, and he said that to me many times, and he said it to people around him many times. He felt that Bibi Netanyahu was a very destructive force. He was appalled by what was happening in Gaza. He was, above all, resentful that he believed Netanyahu.
Where are the clips of him saying he's appalled?
To prosecute his wars for the benefit of.
When he said that they want to ethnically cleanse it, Charlie was defending everything that's happening in Gaza. I've seen the clip from just recently. He was defending that there were starving kids in Gaza. He always towed the line publicly. So you're telling me Charlie behind the scenes hated Netanyahu and hated what was going on in Gaza, but he never said it on PBD? No, he said that they wanted to ethnically cleanse it. But then he said they have a mandate to do that also. So that's like justifying it. Sorry.
Netanyahu, and he said that to me many times, and he said it to people around him many times. He felt that Bibi Netanyahu was a very destructive force. He was appalled by what was happening.
He called it genocide. He did call it genocide, I believe. I think you're right about that. That's true.
In Gaza, he was, above all, resentful that he believed Netanyahu was using the United States to prosecute his wars for the benefit of his country, and that it was shameful and embarrassing and bad for the United States, and he resented it. Didn't hate Netanyahu. He wasn't out there with a placard saying that, but he certainly expressed that to me and a lot of other people. And there's no question that Bibi's defenders on the internet will call me a liar or a kook, but that's a fact. And enough text messages exist that I think it can probably be verified in pretty short order. Not that it needs to be, because that is true. He did not like Bibi Netanyahu.
Well, I think it needs to be. I want to see those text messages. Come on. You can't tease us with messages like this, Tucker. Look, Bibi's top trending, 51,000. Let's see what we got here. I'm scared to ever click top because they do porn in these things. look, we're going to play the clips of Nick here in a second, but a lot of the Jackson Hinkle communists are all saying Nick has turned, Nick got the call. Nick's a Jew now because he's not going along with this conspiracy. Okay. Tucker says, Charlie told me in private that he had absolutely hated Netanyahu. Charlie publicly ever talked about Netanyahu? This was probably a few years ago, though, because he's with Candace. And they're saying that he hasn't hung out with Candace for a while. I'm not sure the date on this. And a lot can change in a few years on how you feel towards somebody. But this is what he had to say about Netanyahu.
We've been on the move. We were in Israel a couple weeks ago for the embassy openings. We went out with Huckabee.
Okay, see, this was 2018. This is a long time ago.
We've been on the move. We were in Israel a couple weeks ago for the embassy openings. We went out with Huckabee about 4 or 5 years ago. Is it not the most amazing place? I never been. And we had like an hour with Netanyahu. He's special. Yes. He's a special leader. Noahhide says. Oh, and he's everything a leader should be, right? I mean, just confident and direct. Barack wasn't. We've been on the move. We were in Israel a couple weeks ago for the embassy openings.
Candace did comment, which got me thinking. She said that Netanyahu has recently done a lot of like podcasts. He did Nelk Boys. He did Brandon Tatum. He's going on these other shows, but he hadn't done a show with Charlie recently. Candace alluded to that, which I think is true. But who else hadn't done a show with Candace recently was Charlie.
That if I criticize AIPAC, I'm anti. You guys think it's anti-Semitic to say you don't like Bibi Netanyahu? No, I don't believe so. If you call everyone an anti-Semite, if they don't take a puritanical view of the Netanyahu government, then I think it's bad for everybody. So would you guys all you're ethnically Jewish? Ethnically Jewish, yeah.
Charlie's just trying to have like moral high ground and be logical and not argue like a spazzing, kvetching, Jewish position. He's trying to be reasonable and win these people over from the Groypers and the anti-Israel stuff that he sees as a threat. He's trying to win the argument, and you can't argue that if you're opposed to Netanyahu, then you hate all Jews, because that's not a defensible position. I don't see this as him turning against Netanyahu.
And you have concerns about AIPAC. Yes, I do. I'm told that by some people that if I criticize AIPAC, I'm anti-Semitic. I think it's ridiculous. Yeah, I feel like it's great to have a concern for your country. Do you think that that AIPAC represents? Again, I'm not saying I believe this, but I think this is what you're saying. You guys think it's anti-Semitic?
Okay. This was Charlie in July. 2 months ago on the famine in Gaza. Let's hear. Oh, this is long. Campaign. This is 11 minutes.
I hate being lied to, and I hate being propagandized. And this weekend, there was an all-out propaganda campaign trying to make it seem as if Israel is intentionally starving the people of Gaza. I hate being lied to, especially by the media networks. They lied to us about COVID. They lied to us about the vaccines. They lied to us about open borders. They lied to us Hunter Biden laptop. Joining us now is Rabbi Wilicki, a great friend, and thank you so much for defending me the other day. Rabbi Wilicki, you're also the YouTube, people can find you on YouTube, Israel 365. Rabbi, let's just go to the facts here, and then let's get into the lies. What?
Oh, shoot. This is the one that he was on the Skype call with, or Zoom call, with Josh Hammer, the other Jew, like days before he was assassinated.
Campaign. Starvation lie, and thank you. About COVID, they lied to us about the vaccines. They lied to us about open borders. They lied to us Hunter Biden laptop. Joining us now is Rabbi Wilicki, a great friend, and thank you so much for defending me the other day. Rabbi Wilicki, you're also the YouTube, people can find you on YouTube, Israel 365. Rabbi, let's just go through the facts here, and then let's get into the lies. What is the situation in Gaza as the truth would bear it out, not the New York Times propagandist network?
Well, if we're talking about the starvation lie, and thank you, Charlie. Thank you for having me on to talk about this. It's so important because this is really...
Charlie was, like, until very recent, until right before his death, He was still having on Ben Shapiro to talk about Qatar. He's still defending what's happening in Gaza with his rabbi friend. Like, to just jump to the conclusion that that Israel did it, they had to take him out, when he was literally one of the greatest spokespeople for Israel. And then you're going to start attacking Nick Fuentes or me or anybody else that says I'm not convinced. It's absurd. It's unserious. You're making us look all... It's what I said to Ian Carroll on day one when he said Israel did. I said, you're making us look insane, and they're gonna use this, and it's going to get crushed. All right, we're not going to do the whole 11 minutes there. We get the point. Here's the Russian Orthodox guy with Tucker Carlson claiming that Charlie was... Candace says he was going to convert to Catholicism, and he was praying the rosary and wasn't going to be a Judeo-Christian Protestant anymore. And Tucker apparently is claiming that he was interested in Orthodoxy.
It was published extensively.
Charlie Kirk was very interested in Orthodoxy, as I'm sure you know. He was knowledgeable on it too. I'm not. But I know that, but I'm interested. But he was very interested in it. Were you aware of that?
He interviewed a friend of mine, Father John Strickland, who's a very respected Orthodox priest and a Russian scholar who's published extensively on Russian history. And Charlie was very interested in that. And I watched that interview and a few comments that he made afterwards, in which he actually got very much into the mind of us Orthodox Christians and explained why so many people are converting to Holy Orthodoxy. And I thought actually he was spot on, very much spot on. He said people are becoming Orthodox because they want something that is time tested. They want something that's substantial. Yes. They want something that actually informs culture, something that isn't just a plaything and can be categorized over just here. Or Orthodox Christianity, traditional Christianity in general, it is a lifestyle. It impacts everything because Christ is king, and he's king over every aspect of our life and over civilization. This is common knowledge. Europe, of course, you take a train through Europe. Every town you go through, you're going to go through a town that has the best land given to the church, and the church is going to be the highest building, because everyone knew if you don't enthrone worship at the center of your community, if you don't make that,
because everyone knew, or because the Jewish church conquered Europe,
robbing yourself of significance, and you're trivializing yourself to just be limited to time. The best thing that can happen in America is that people go to church, root themselves in the one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church, because the river of life comes from the altar out the doors of the church and vivifies society. And do we ever need to be vivified today?
So interesting that he just said this, because this is a verse I was writing about the other day. What did King David do to Edom is what I asked. And listen to what it says. And David, so this would be viewed as, this would be an inspired esoteric reading of what the Davidic Messiah would do to Edom, which at the time of Christianity was Rome. 2 Samuel 8:14 says, and David made a name for himself when he turned from striking down 18,000 Edomites in the Valley of the Salt. He placed garrisons throughout Edom, and all the Edomites were subject to David. So the Lord made David victorious wherever he went. So a garrison is like a military outpost. So what did Christianity do? What did the Davidic Messiah of Jesus do? Set up churches to control all throughout Europe, all throughout Edom. What do you think of that? Interesting. Garrisons. As like the churches all throughout Edom. Just something I was thinking of. So Candace was also claiming that he was interested in Catholicism as well. This is Charlie talking about Catholicism.
Father Klein, great guy. My wife was baptized Catholic. Actually hit on...
His wife is Catholic. That's right. Confirmed now. His co-producer, the co-host of his show, I believe, is Mormon. Or one of the top guys was Mormon. I know I heard that. The Jewish church conquered as military outposts throughout Edom. Interesting, right? What was I going to say about Charlie and the Catholic Church? His wife is taking over turning point now. His wife, who is supposedly more conservative, more based in red pill than he was, is taking over. He apparently said that he wanted her to take it over before he died.
Actually hit on one of my major...
The Kim Clement prophecy fanatics are going to go crazy, I'm sure.
Actually hit...
They're saying she's Queen Esther.
Actually hit on one of my major concerns of Catholicism. And I mean, look, I love Catholics. You know, as people know, I'm very close to even my local Catholic priest, Father Klein, great guy. My wife was baptized Catholic, but I have some big disagreements with Catholicism. And the first of which would be Mariology. But let me first say, I think we as Protestant evangelicals under-venerate Mary. She was very important. She was a vessel for our Lord and Savior. She is a phenomenal example, and I think a counter to so much of the toxicity of feminism in the modern era. However, I would say Catholicism goes way too far. Catholicism believes two things as dogma, and most Catholics, if you ask them this, some don't even know. Number one, do you believe that Mary was sinless? The Catholic Church does. There is no biblical basis for this, the only of which would be that Mary was full of grace in the Annunciation of Mary in Luke 1. That is a big stretch. By the way, that was not even added into official Catholic dogma till the mid-1800s. The second of which which is called the Immaculate Conception. There's a second form of Catholic dogma that believes that Mary was assumed into heaven, that her physical body was actually the Assumption of Mary, was assumed into heaven. Again, that is a pure faith claim. It is not.
These like minutia differences and disagreements they have between Protestantism and Catholicism and Orthodoxy are so irrelevant, so ridiculous. Like arguing how many angels can dance on the head of a pin type of stupid. Actually, they think Mary was like sinless, so like I can't be a Catholic. And actually, they think the Holy Ghost derived from the Father and not from the Son. Like stupid stuff like that. It's just such a joke.
Biblically supported at all whatsoever. So I think that we as evangelicals can do a better job of remembering, studying, talking about, and pointing towards Mary, because she was a vessel chosen by God Almighty.
Anyway, we get the point. He didn't sound like he was converting to Catholicism again. That's what Candace claims. I'm not convinced. Seems like bullshit. Assumption of Mary, retarded. Owen Schroyer says, 26,000 likes. 99% certain that this is an exit wound. This camera, which was first taken down in footage we haven't seen, is probably the most important video evidence that we know of. Not an exit wound, not even close. You guys seen any of this? I've seen some of these sniper guys doing stuff, shooting through things, trying to break down, was he wearing a vest? Is he have a earpiece in? Was it some guy? The people saying, the viral video saying that some dude had a gun in his arm. Like, how do you aim a gun in your arm like that? You're telling me this high-profile, sophisticated, deep state Mossad, whatever assassination, and they're going to risk it to some dude with an arm gun? Give me a fucking break. Seems so stupid. You thought it was an exit wound? I don't know. I don't think so. I saw a sniper guy break down, and it seemed like it wasn't an exit wound. Anyway, just here's Adam Sosnick melting down over Candace Owens, so the Patrick Bet David valuetainment Jewish guy. Let's hear what he has to say about Candace.
She did a tweet. There's 10 million people, 10 million views who trust Candace. At what point are we going to say Candace gives opinions? Is the FBI? Is the CIA? Is anyone in the intelligence saying...
That's funny.
We have credible evidence to find that Israel is at play here. Zero. This is Candace spouting on the internet.
Right.
And at one point are people going to be like, we just can't trust what she's saying. Last thing about Candace. And I look, every time I've hung out with Candace, I've enjoyed my time with Candace. I think she's cool. I think she's fun. I think she's gone down a deep, dark rabbit hole the last couple of years. That's my opinion. Her entire career, you can almost assess that it's Jews or very pro-Israel people that have put her on. And she slapped them all in the face. Dennis Prager, Dave Rubin, Charlie Kirk to an extent, Ben Shapiro on Daily Wire. They all gave her a platform. And then she just spits in all their face. And now none of them want anything to do with them. It's very reminiscent in a weird way of the U.S.-China relation. Who opened up the China's role in the world, in the World Trade Organization? Wasn't it Richard Nixon? Didn't Bill Clinton open up a trade organization with China? And now China is our biggest. Okay, have a little respect. That is very symbolic of what Candace is doing.
I think we got another one from
Jewish community.
Vinny.
These are some of these viral.
And Charlie friends? Yeah, they were. Candace and Charlie friends? Yeah, they were. I challenge anybody, please help me out here. Show me one picture, one podcast, one evidence that they've even been in the same room in the last 2 years. The last thing I found, the last time they did anything was on October 3rd, 2023. Ironically, a couple days before October 7th. Show me any evidence that they've been in touch, they've been in dialogue, they've done anything together. I would love to see it. So they were friends. I don't think they are friends. I think that Candace is capitalizing on Charlie's death. I think she feels horrible. She doesn't feel good about this. But Candace is an opportunist. And if we know anything about Candace, over the last couple of years, has she been biased, non-biased towards Israel? In my mind, she's been blind with rage. Were Candace and Charlie friends? Yeah, they were.
Yeah, I don't think it's in. People got Inspector Gadget theories. I've seen so many videos. It's always a dude, a TikTok video, vertical. He's got green screen. He's like, look at that. Look at that thing right there. Look at that guy. Look at this grainy little photo. Look, there's a little, a reflection. There's a light. It's just like, dude, come on. We saw the videos of the guy on the roof, jumping off the roof. Right when it happened, before I even saw the video of Charlie getting hit, they had somebody was filming a roof and there was a guy laying down on the roof. Like, come on. It's not even a hard shot with the scope, with a rifle and a scope. The sound, here's another thing, a piece of evidence. There's video of somebody far away of the little auditorium thing that Charlie was speaking at. And when the bullet went off, everybody turned and looked in the direction that the guy was on the roof. And the audio sounds like it's a rifle from far away. I think I got the power chat turned off, do I? Anyway, let's see some receipts, Candace. Some text messages.
Being part of
TPUSA board member Eric Bowling says Charlie Kirk distanced himself from Candace Owens.
TPUSA.
I think I'm not sure when this was either.
Zorn Dare Edom sent $5 at him. Charlie was just being sincere and honest. Schizo wackos in Israel will view Kirk as a threat. Just like that Israeli news pundit you played. Don't underestimate their paranoia. That's why I'm paying close attention to the Owens claims.
I'm paying close attention too. I've been for hours covering
Dominic
all of her
sent
claims.
$10 Browns to the left of me, boomers to the right. Here I am stuck in the middle with you, Tony Rigatoni on X.
Tony Rigatoni. Stuck between the communists
Dominic
and the Zionists.
sent $10 Browns to the left of me,
we heard
boomers
that
to
one.
the right. Here I am.
All right. Thank you, Dominic. Power chats are on.
Give Candace early on, 2011, 2012, 2013, they were tight. They grew TPUSA like crazy. I was shocked to see her leave until being part of TPUSA, her theories got just a little bit too down the rabbit holes. It was too extreme for their taste. And Charlie, to his credit, kept a cordial friendship with her for years, but it hasn't been a communication pipeline back and forth between the two for many years. That's why I don't know why we give Candace Owens' assessment any weight at all.
You're on the board of Turning Point?
Yeah.
Okay. When's the last time you saw Candace Owens?
In person?
Yeah.
2015, 2016.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No,
When's the last time she was at a Turning Point event?
Not in many years.
Okay.
But
so let's without even being biased.
That doesn't mean they weren't talking on the phone.
No question, proof that Candace Owens has nothing to do. she would be in a perfect world if they didn't have this. What I already know was a very quiet breakup where she got too rabbit hole for him. She would be the logical heir to the TPUSA throne, but she's
and
not.
now she's not even invited.
Correct. So this is so their divide is.
Wait a minute, not invited meaning
she's not even there.
Yeah, she's not.
She's not even
there. Wait, you don't think she'll be at the funeral?
No.
That's not the funeral.
The heir
oh, that's going to be crazy.
She's not going to the events anymore.
I mean, Erica.
That's a reason
Erica
for that.
Kirk. I mean,
what is Erica Kirk's relationship with Candace at this point? Is there a relationship?
I don't think so.
Why do you not think so?
Because I live in this world.
Okay.
I live.
Why? They could have been hooking up. What if Charlie and Candace hooked up? Because if it was before he was married, it was before she was married. They might have hooked up. Might be. Has anybody thought of that theory that they hooked up, that they boned? Charlie and Candace. I can't believe I haven't heard anybody speculate that, actually. People are wondering, I saw in the comments, like, maybe Erica Kirk, his wife, is not telling Candace to stop because she agrees with Candace and she wants her to expose this and bring down Israel. Or, I think more likely, if Candace doesn't stop, she is going to speak out against the conspiracies. Mark my words, Erica Kirk is going to say, stop the anti-Semitic conspiracy. She's going to say, Charlie would be looking down from heaven disgusted at all the anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. Bookmark that. I bet you that's coming out from her. We'll see.
You know this world. Tell us.
Yeah. I don't see them together. I think Candace has created a lane for herself. Yeah. It's her own lane. She wants to go after Macron's husband or wife or whatever you want to call him. She wants. I agree that I think it's cheap that she is sparking this up like she knows something between something happened between Ackman and Charlie. For what reason?
Here's what I would say. To me,
money.
To me. Okay. Candace Owens just wants to know what happened to Charlie.
From investigating what happened. Nobody is going to stop me from investigating what happened to Charlie Kirk, because it feels to me, okay, that this is a conspiracy, a federal level conspiracy, which means that there's going to be nobody is going to
federal
stop me.
Level conspiracy. So not an Israeli conspiracy, a federal level. Ted Cruz chimes in on Tucker. He says, I'm getting really tired of Tucker and his cronies falsely claiming Charlie, quote, Charlie agreed with me that Israel's terrible and the problem in America is all the damn Jews. I knew Charlie well, and indeed the very last conversation we had was how deeply concerned he was about rising toxic wave of anti-Semitism on the right. Does anybody dispute that? Isn't that what Charlie was always talking about against anti-Semitism? Lion Ted, who killed Charlie? Theory 666. Okay. Alex Jones says the Israel lobby is trying to hijack the memory and identity of Charlie Kirk.
No.
Alex Jones, let's see.
The Israel lobby is trying to hijack the memory and the identity of Charlie Kirk. No, I don't believe Israel.
It's not much of a hijacking,
$5.
though.
I have
was their
viable
guy.
Working theories as to how a foreign actor may have influenced this Kirk murder. Useful idiots being groomed by laundered money and/or AI-based mind control systems. These aren't kooky. JFK murder also gave no obvious Jew ties.
It's not out of the realm of possibility that there could be some foreign or domestic intelligence in those Discord furry chat groups trying to wind up some people, or it's just all the rhetoric from the left-wing streamers and politicians and media that is always vilifying the right as hate and Nazis and white supremacists. You know, that's enough of a wind-up as it is right there for how crazy some of these leftists are. So Jones is saying he's not saying Israel did it, but they are exploiting his message, which I think, at a minimum, is undisputed.
No, I don't believe Israel did it because there's no evidence. Maybe they did. But Israel is definitely trying to hijack the memory and the person of Kirk. And that's what Tucker's doing, is putting the truth out. Charlie Kirk told me the same things he told Tucker Carlson.
When did you talk to Charlie Kirk?
But he also said those things. And Ted Cruz says he's lying. I don't want to fight with Ted Cruz, but I have to. Ted Cruz, I don't know if they got footage of Ted Cruz having sex with a poodle or something. That's a joke, folks. I've never heard that. Or sex with a goat or something. But he literally licks the ass of Benjamin Netanyahu.
Literally.
He got his face so far up his ass. I'm sorry for the gross analogy, but that's the analogy that fits, so I'm using it. And that's what people are sick of. I don't want to blow Israel off the map. I don't have a hard-on for Jews. But at the same time, I'm sick of being sued by ADL back groups.
I do. I have a hard-on for Jews.
Anti-free speech laws. I'm sick of.
Hard-on for Khazarian milkers.
People are sick of. I don't want to blow Israel off the map.
Anyone in the chat have a hard-on for Jews? Alex Jones does not. He has a hard-on for Blair White, not Jews.
I have a hard-on for Jews. But at the same time, I'm sick of being sued by ADL back groups. I'm sick of Israel trying to pass anti-free speech laws. I'm sick of it. And we're sick of having America's name on the dead Gazans. And we're sick of you trying to drag us into war. And you got the most unpopular approval rating in the world. And Ted Cruz says you go to hell if you don't support Israel. That's not in the Bible. John the Baptist got his head cut off by Herod. He was criticizing the Jewish government. Jesus Christ went and beat the money changers in the temple with a whip. That's a lie. Paid for and parroted by the Christian Zionists. But I also won't join the Nazis.
Brother BD sent $5 on Rumble. I sent to your DM Candace Owens saying she is one of the Masons of Turning Point. Did you see this?
Yeah, that just means she built Turning Point. You think that was code that she's saying that they're Freemasons? I did see a clip of her mention that Cash Patel said that they found the shooter in 33 hours. She's like, just like the Freemasons. So no, I don't think her saying she's a Mason building Turning Point means she just built it.
And all of their weird behavior and how they say everything in the world is Israel's fault. When there's enough evil to go around, and changing this stuff is an inside job with our relationship with God.
Ordinary Dome sent $5. One good explanation for the Israel blaming from the usual so-called Russia shills like Alex Jones is to discredit any questioning of Israel, muddying.
Oh, I don't know why that cut off. Sorry about that. What's going on? Where did that go? Muddying the waters. Okay. One good Israel blaming so-called Russia shills like Alex Jones is to credit. Yeah, but he's not blaming. Alex is not discrediting criticism of Israel because he's not blaming them. So I'm a little confused with your comment there, Zornder Edom. But I appreciate it. Okay, now we got Josh Hammer. He's been central to this whole thing. He used to work for Ben Shapiro and Daily Wire. He was at the retreat with Bill Ackman and Charlie Kirk. He was on the Zoom call with Charlie Kirk and the rabbi days before his assassination, working over their Hasbara talking points. He says, it says an awful lot about someone's character when a titan of our movement is assassinated by an indoctrinated leftist, transgender, adjacent, furry, fetishist, and yet obsessive focus remains on the Jews. See how they're milking this to make opposition to Jews look crazy? This is how this is going to play out, whether you guys like it or not. Sorry, that's just reality. He's the editor of Newsweek. A lot of people read Newsweek. A lot of people in the real world. Him and all his friends are all going to be towing that line, regardless of how many ratios you get on Twitter, which are probably a bunch of bots anyway. Anyway, there's one. Rabbi Barclay, another top rabbi. Dude, he's only got 400, 500 followers. Weak sauce, rabbi. Oh, he debated. That's right. Thank you, Leaf Blower. Josh Hammer also was on the stage at TPUSA debating Dave Smith with Charlie Kirk as the moderator. Also.
Neo-Nazi Groyper stuff at bay. We actually did speak for the last time less than 24 hours before the assassination happened. We had a Zoom call, a friend of mine, him, a couple of his producers. It was a small call. We were literally talking, above all, about the anti-Israel questions they expected to receive on this campus tour. And we're kind
The day before,
talking points and
you're
strategy.
telling me
and how to
Israel,
deal with-
hold on, dude, I hate when this does this. It freezes. It won't let me pause my video. The day before, in preparation for the tour and his Sabbath book tour he was about to go on, he's meeting with Josh Hammer, top Israeli propagandist, and his rabbi to go over Hasbara pro-Israel talking points to combat all the rising anti-Semitism, which he deplored. And you're telling me that the Jews had to take him out? He's about to go on a pro-Israel propaganda tour. Let's get real.
While trying to meet the younger, literally talking above all about the anti-Israel questions they expected to receive on this campus tour. And we're kind of talking him through talking points and strategy and how to deal with these expected hostile questions. And what Charlie was essentially trying to do was he was essentially trying to figure out how to navigate this to keep the Nick Fuentes neo-Nazi Groyper stuff at bay while trying to meet the younger.
Now he's gone. This is Israel's master plan. They took out Charlie, and now the Groypers are going to fill the vacuum, and everybody's blaming them for it. Master move, master play. They wouldn't have survived without it. One state says Kirk was a Shabbos goy till the very end. Yes, he was. Even granted that he had some criticisms, he's trying to, in his heart, probably not be a complete sellout Shabbos goy and try to at least have defensible positions, because he's the one on the front lines having to argue and fend off all these anti-Semites like Nick Fuentes. I did air quotes, just by the way, for people to see.
Generation, the Gen Z folks who are pretty wobbly on this issue, kind of meet them on their own terms and to try to kind of guide them towards a better place. It's been really hard. And, I've known Charlie for a handful of years, as I know you have as well, but we really had gotten quite a bit closer just over the past year and a half. He was just a fundamentally good personality. He was a decent man. He was someone who, in all these videos that people have seen in the viral YouTube clips of him debating these left-wing college students, he never gets flustered. He never gets angry. He never raises his voice. He was a kind, gentle soul.
And then Josh Hammer, just like Rabbi Shmuley, like the minutes after, maybe it was the day after Charlie was shot, he was trying to fundraise his GoFundMe on behalf of Charlie getting assassinated. Josh Hammer uses Charlie Kirk's death to hawk his new book. Let's see.
On this campus
true. This can't be true.
He's the author of this incredible book, which all of you need to order right now. Pause the video, order it, and then continue with the video, called Israel and Civilization, the Fate of the Jewish Nation and the Destiny of the West.
We actually did speak for the last time less than 24 hours before the assassination happened. We had a Zoom call, a friend of mine, him, a couple of his producers. It was a small call. We were literally talking.
We already heard this. Okay, he introduced the book of the guest before they did the podcast. Like, that's a little sketch. They're criticizing Candace for the same thing. They're like, Candace is promoting theories about Kirk, and then she's going to commercials and selling commercials. So these are weak things, if you ask me. People have shows, they promote their books, they run their ads. Doesn't mean they're not being sincere with what they're saying. Okay. Anyway, it's like saying, "Oh, Adam talked about all of this, and he said you can buy a T-shirt." Adam says he has a book, and then he also talked about some topic. Like, that's a little bit of a stretch there. Sorry, Chris Menahan. I'm not impressed by that. I was ready. I was ready too. I was ready to hammer him. I thought it was going to be a shameless plug. I hadn't watched it yet. I was ready to play the clip.
Stereotyping Jews is terrible.
I thought it was going to be like, Charlie was killed because everybody needs to buy my book. I thought it was going to be something bad like that. No, it was a edit and a cut.
On these
Okay, let's hear a little bit more. He's on the tour talking about all of this now.
There are some people today, Dana, who unfortunately have at best forgotten that, at worst have chosen to forget it. Charlie Kirk never did. He literally kept his version of the Sabbath. He turned his phone off when Orthodox Jews like myself turn our phone off from Friday night to Saturday night. He has a whole forthcoming book on the Sabbath. Nonetheless, there are some people out there, I named Candace Owens because she's the ringleader here, Charlie Kirk's one-time colleague on these campus tours, who is now just basically spitting on his memory, desecrating his memory, just ghoulish behavior, trying to say that there was a pro-Israel intervention from Bill Ackman, who, yes, was there, our mutual friend Seth Dillon of Babylon B, who, yes, was there. My name's been dragged up a little bit as well. I was there the whole time. This was a small, they called it an influencers retreat. It was invite only. Charlie texted me in July to invite me. 35 people, give or take. By the way, not everyone on the same page on the Israel issue or on any issue. It was a very lively conversation, which is kind of Charlie's MO. He likes to have these big conversations. Literally, when he was killed, he was under a tent that said, prove me wrong. That's his whole thing. He likes to have open debate there. But
this guy sounds so gay.
I don't know how many times just to say this there. Like this notion that Bill Ackman, Seth Dillon, and me, myself, pinned Charlie and said, oh, you gotta go to Israel, you gotta take the shekels, you gotta get back in line there.
Take the shekels, Charlie.
He talks like a fag, too.
That's so funny. Take the shekels, eat the goy slop, and stop noticing, Charlie. Or it'll be your head.
This there. Like this notion that Bill...
Brother
BD sent $5 on Rumble. Israel could have taken Charlie Kirk out to capitalize on the anti-Semitism, not because he was turning on Israel. Remember, they wage war BR deception and trickery.
Dude, that's not 4D chess. That's 6D chess. I don't think so, dude. Sorry.
Ackman, Seth Dillon, and me, myself, pinned Charlie and said, oh, you gotta go to Israel, you gotta take the shekels, you gotta get back in line there. It's total garbage. It literally did not happen. I have no idea where Candace is getting this information. I have a couple of guesses as to who is leaking her some information, which is probably just making it up on top of that. What I can tell you, Dana, is the following, which is that this is a lie. It is a brazen, self-serving lie to try to posthumously convert Charlie Kirk to full-on Nick Fuentes groiperism. It is a cynical attempt to retcon and historically revise his legacy to pretend that he was something other than the pro-Hebrew Bible Christian, than the champion of the Judeo-Christian biblical lines that he was. It is a
Hebrew Bible, Hebrew Judeo-Christian Bible champion. He was.
Desecration of his memory, and I will not stand for it.
Desecration of his memory. They're going to silence the anti-Semitism in the name of Charlie. In his wake, the legacy of Charlie, the turning point when they crushed. She looks like the mom from the Addams. This is Dana Loesch. Or is this her? Yeah, it is. She's... Stay away from the knife and the injections, Dana Loesch. Sus retreat, yeah. And I said earlier, Candace Owens said that Adam King was there, and he denies it. He says he wasn't. What's her proof? She said he's on the list. She didn't show a list. So if she's wrong about that, how do we... She's seemingly wrong about this too. Charlie's own best friend was there and said none of that happened. And then all these other guys, their other Zionist friends that were there all corroborated. Michael Savage comments. He says, Owens and Carlson, the neo-right Jew-hating instigators, they will get innocent people killed if they don't stop their lies and shaded hatred of all Jewish people, not just Israel's actions. Do you see how this is being played? How this is going to be used? This is the fallout we're seeing. Roseanne Barr says, even the head vampire himself knows blaming Israel is insane. Tim Pool says Nick Fuentes is the voice of reason. We're going to play a couple of Nick's clips that he's been talking about this. And I largely agree with Nick on the Charlie Kirk situation.
Time to wake up, guys. Some of this, I'll be the first one to say, the conspiratard schizo thing, it's getting a little out of control.
That's my word. Hold on. Is Nick watching? I don't know many other people that use conspiratard. I use it all the time. All the time. I did the show called Non-Schizo Nationalism with his friend Keith Woods that he got so mad about. He had a falling out with Keith Woods because he came on my show. We know he saw it. It seems like he is watching. I don't know that he is, but for more reasons than just conspiratard too, by the way. But I agree. And this has been also because this has been my main criticism of him. He's delegitimizing anti-Semitism and making it look like a discredited villain by constantly saying Jews killed Jesus. Yeah, I know Doc Jake Holiday posted and he says it sounds like me and Amalek. A lot of his takes in the last year, little over a year, have been shifting towards my positions.
Getting a little out of control. And that's coming from me. I mean, it's like we are truly through the looking glass. When Charlie Kirk is assassinated, people blame Israel. I, who fought Charlie Kirk because he was pro-Israel, am being said to, I'm being said to be covering up that he was killed for this miraculous conversion. If Ben...
And who's doing it? It's being pushed by the Russia shill network that we've already been aware of. And that's who's coming after him. They're targeting Spencer too because he's got the same position. I haven't seen them come after me much, but they have in the past for this.
Shapiro was taken out next, and now, God forbid, would Israel be behind that too? I mean, that would be equally ridiculous. If it was Ben Shapiro on Wednesday, people would be saying, Israel did it. Shapiro was about to become a National Socialist. Like, what? It's crazy.
It is a stretch. It is a stretch.
Israel. You know it. I know it. I think the Israel thing is totally falling apart. And the reason it's falling apart is because Charlie Kirk was pro-Israel. You know it. I know it. We all know it. It's been a week. We can be a little bit more candid now. Charlie Kirk was pro-Israel until the day that he died.
Yeah, at this rate, Nick's going to be a Viking pagan in the next few years. The way things are headed with Nick, he's going to join Richard Spencer and be an Apollonian pretty soon. The true Rome, the non-Jewish Rome. In Italy.
And for all these people that want to pull up the private text messages and conversations, I understand that you didn't want America to fight a ground war in Iran. That doesn't mean he wasn't pro-Israel. I'll give you one example, then we'll get into the newest stuff. The day before he died, Israel bombed Qatar. Huge. That's a huge deal. It's unprecedented. Israel bombed yet another country. Added it to the list. They've bombed Gaza, the West Bank, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Yemen, Iran, Tunisia, or the territorial waters of Tunisia. They bombed, there was an infographic out recently. They bombed like a dozen countries. They bombed another one. They bombed Qatar of Tunisia. Do you know who Charlie Kirk brought on to discuss this? Ben Shapiro. And people said, well, but he asked Ben Shapiro these.
Yeah, Fuentes should just abandon Jesus and go back to his Aztecian ancestry, his pre-Christian Mexican lore. Yeah, Quetzalcoatl. He'll worship Quetzalcoatl, whatever the name is.
Tough questions. Okay, but if you're bringing on Ben Shapiro,
not allowed in Valhalla.
What does that tell you? If I brought on some Chinese national to talk about the war in China, what am I doing? If I brought on some Russian national to talk about the war in Russia, what am I doing? Josh Hammer, a mouthpiece for the Israeli government. He works at Newsweek, used to work for Shapiro. Josh Hammer said in a podcast that he talked to Charlie the week he died, and they went over talking points for how to defend Israel on the campus tour. Charlie's rabbi said the morning of the day he was killed, they talked about strategies to defend Israel. So, time to wake up, guys. Some of this, I'll be the first one to say, the conspiratard schizo thing is getting a little out of control. it was 150 million, although that's what's being claimed. It's
Yeah,
crazy. Anyway, so that just needs to be said. Like, people talk about, and we talked about it last night. Did Netanyahu give Charlie Kirk $150 million or offer it up? I've heard that claimed. I don't know if that's the dollar amount.
Yeah, where is this source? What's the proof of that? 150 million? That seems like a lot of money. That would be doubling their yearly revenue.
I've had friends of mine tell me that, yes, Charlie refused an infusion of cash. I have not heard any receipts that it was 150 million, although that's what's being claimed. And if there is any evidence, I would implore Candace Owens.
I wouldn't doubt. They were calling him anti-Semitic. They were mad about Tucker Carlson being at TPUSA. I'm sure they were mad about the Patrick Bet David podcast saying that they want to ethnically cleanse and that could have been a stand down. I'm sure both things could be true. He could have been having a little bit of a rift and some friction with his Zionist donors, and he still could have got killed by a leftist. And they're going to capitalize and try to exploit his death to their advantage. All of those things can be true. In fact, all of those things are Occam's razor most likely to be the case. All right, more from Fuentes. His comment on low IQ anti-Semitism, which I've been speaking out a lot. My big criticism of Nick is that the Christian anti-Semitism is low IQ anti-Semitism. Yo, Prison Palace is here. So annoyed by the situation. Have a great stream. Been a while, Prison Palace. Been missing you. Where you been?
Did for the past week was gaslight the public, and by definition, that's what it is. Gaslight her audience, gaslight the public. Netanyahu lied. They shot him in the throat because they're taking his voice. I have all these receipts, but I'm not going to publish them. And then literally a week later, she's going to put on Twitter, oh, I never said they were behind it. I never said that at all. I just strongly implied it. We all know what you said. We all know what you meant. You dummy, you irresponsible, grifting dummy. I've so had it with that. And at the end of the day,
And remember, he's been having drama with Candace for a while now. And she had him on, and it was a hit job. And then she's teamed up with Milo to attack him, and she teamed up with Tucker Carlson to attack him. And the Gray Zone and Max Blumenthal did articles calling him a Fed and saying stuff about him as well. So take that into the context as well.
That's stupid and defines low IQ anti-Semitism. I used to think it didn't exist.
It does. It does exist, and Jews killed God is the top example of it. The Jews killed Jesus is the epitome of low IQ anti-Semitism. They killed the God that gave me my religion and saved my soul. They killed the Messiah that was meant to rule the world. That's low IQ anti-Semitism, Nick. You know I'm right. Just like I was right about Trump, right about Jesus being fake and Jewish and low IQ anti-Semitism. You have to see it.
We all know what you said. We all know what you meant. You dummy. You irresponsible, grifting dummy. I've so had it with that. And at the end of the day, she's just stupid and defines low IQ anti-Semitism. I used to think it didn't exist. I used to think that low IQ anti-Semitism is just something that Jewish people would say to counter the rising tide of people acknowledging Jewish power.
You didn't think it exists?
It's real. And
Really?
it has a name. That name is Candace Owens Farmer. Low IQ anti-Semitism. The idea that Charlie Kirk was silenced for being about to go against Israel, it's just on its face absurd and ridiculous. And so anyway, all those people that said, oh, Nick got the call, Nick's really afraid right now. Believe you me, when we get back to our regularly scheduled programming next week, when we have processed everything having to do with this horrific assassination, rest assured we will be talking about the Middle East conflict. I have not changed my views even slightly, not even in a minute way, not at all. The idea that Israel's number one cheerleader on the right wing was somehow killed by Israel, sorry, not buying it. And the people promulgating that idea, they're not even saying that.
True.
Tucker's not saying that. Candace isn't saying that. They're just weirdly implying it. And I wonder why that is. Releasing no evidence. And I would reiterate, this is the last thing I'll say before we move on.
Nick looks like he could take us to Neverland. He's like Peter Pan. He never wants to grow up. He's like Michael Jackson.
You know, Candace Owens made a very specific claim. She said that Charlie Kirk sent a letter to Netanyahu, and she said that Netanyahu held up that letter when he eulogized Charlie Kirk in the news the day of. She said, and he mischaracterized the contents of the letter. She said, and if he keeps doing that, I'll reveal the letter. You need to reveal the letter. Show us what you have. Once again,
how does she know what's in the letter that Charlie sent to Netanyahu? That's my question. How does she made the claim that Netanyahu misrepresented what was in Charlie's letter. How does she know what's in the letter? And if you know what's in there, you don't just say it, you show it. This is why I think she's a fraud. That's a big reason right there.
Again, if you have any integrity at all, or if you care at all about your journalistic credibility, you have to release the information. Do not hide. Do not backpedal. Do not gaslight now that you got called on your bullshit, dummy. Now that you got called on your nonsense, show us what you have. Not behind a paywall, not next week on Becoming Brigitte, not next on our next season. No cliffhangers, please. No grifting. Well, subscribe and then you gain it. No. You need to put out the letter. Where is the letter? Where is the letter that Charlie Kirk sent to Netanyahu that you say Netanyahu mischaracterized? Show us the letter. Scan it, put it on Twitter immediately. Otherwise, you're a joke.
Isn't it obvious she doesn't have the letter?
Just as bad as the lying Jewish media, because that's the kind of shit that the Jewish...
She doesn't have a letter just as much as she doesn't have a list that says Adam King was at this retreat. That's what I think. Because if she did, wouldn't she be showing them? Everybody's against her. She could just bring the whole house down and show it and expose Netanyahu as a fraud forever, and she doesn't show anything. She doesn't supply any evidence.
Jewish media pulls. It's no different.
Hold on. Let's see. I want to see if there's any memes. They're all calling him, saying he got the Jew call and showing him dressed as a rabbi and at the wall and stuff. Look, Nick Fuentes is running cover for Israel again. He got the call for sure. 6,000 likes.
A lot of control.
6,000. I think this is Jackson Hinkle, a Jackson Hinkle connected RTSG. I think.
Time to wake up, guys. Time to wake up, guys. Some of this, I'll be the first one to say, the conspiratard schizo thing.
Okay,
Shapiro was about that. I mean,
okay, we saw that one already. Same one, multiplied. Let's see. Now here's Has al-Din. So when I say they're all Russia shills, like we're talking Jackson Hinkle and this guy that's got a Russia flag on his Twitter. He says, who killed Charlie Kirk, according to Nick Fuentes? Has al-Din. Nick is claiming that they had a Discord chat where these people were in, or he's alluding to that. He says it's everybody with zero evidence, but definitely not Israel. 4.5 thousand likes. Look at Gnostic Informant. Has al-Din is a double agent for Mossad. His real name is Hashem ben Elohim. That's funny. Anyway, this is the guy that runs the communist, tanky American Communist Party with Jackson Hinkle. He says Nick Fuentes lost the plot. He's broken and started to crack. After his viewers questioned why he's running cover for Israel, he said that Robinson was somehow in their Discord. Now he's implying Russia did it. Anything but Israel. He shares his Telegram. Remember, first the left celebrated and justified the killing, then turned around and said that Groypers did it. Now these Jackson Hinkle third worldist, Duganist, Eurasianist, I'll add, saying that Nick's a shill for not automatically blaming Israel for the death of Charlie Kirk. Now that I think of it, you know that Max Blumenthal, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Jackson Hinkle all have in common? Russia flag. And I'm seeing a lot of the other accounts on Twitter, the big accounts on Twitter that are promulgating this, that are also huge Putin shills too. Just noticing the Christian Muslim controlled op alliance is pushing this very heavily. Nick got the call with the kippah.
I saw all the clips on Twitter. So the other people that I saw, which was interesting. So I covered this on my show last night, and I saw all the clips on Twitter were getting bombarded by the American Communist Party, which is run by Jackson Hinkle and Infrared Haas, who is some brownoid from Michigan, some mudslime brownoid.
And they're Russian agents. Let's get real. Whether they're paid or not. I mean, Hinkle's like over meeting with like their leadership, their political leadership. Total Russian propaganda.
And so my posts were being brigaded. They said, oh, you're pro-Israel. You are with the Israelis because you don't. Did you know that after this murder last Wednesday, the American Communist Party wiped its Discord server? I wonder.
And no. Don't misrepresent, Ron. I'm not saying Russia did the assassination. I'm saying the pro-Russia networks that have been, like I've been talking about for years, have been dominating the opposition to the Jews. So you have the Christian Muslim propped up Russia shilling networks.
Can't take Nick seriously. There is valid reason in Kirk's public statements to suspect Israel. Adam, I'm guilty. These are all Jew-promoted, controlled opposition.
We've gone through stream after stream for days all of Charlie Kirk's anti-Israel statements. It's not enough to make me think that he was secretly turning to Candace Owens and needed to be taken out by Israel. I think they're just taking advantage of the situation. You guys, please stop spurging. Okay? If some better evidence comes out, not this circumstantial, well, like motive and like who benefits. Like sometimes things just happen to benefit other people. Okay. Let's see some good evidence.
Why that is. Could it be that maybe Tyler Robinson and the people he was involved in, maybe they were in the ACP Discord server? Maybe
American Communist Party Discord server.
They were involved in that, John Brown gun club or one of those tranny gun clubs out there in Utah. Now, did Jackson Hinkle's group, did they wipe their Discord out of an abundance of caution? Seems like a guilty conscience, maybe. Seems like they're afraid of what's in there. And if you don't come and say, oh, Israel killed Charlie Kirk, their top goy, if you're not all in on that conspiracy, they say you're a shill. Well, I don't know. It seems like they're trying to save their own asses. I don't think it was Israel this time. I think it was the left.
I don't think it's them saving their asses. If anything, I think they're just taking advantage of the situation to cause chaos. And it's ultimately like discrediting conspiracies that are going to be used to shut down anti-Semitism. So it's providing the controlled dialectic. The opposition to Israel and Zionism has been managed through all the big influencers that are all big Putin shills. It's like they're playing, if Gog is Russia, Gog and Magog is Russia, the Christian Muslim alliance of Gog is Russia, that's playing the controlled Christian Muslim opposition to Judaism through a different channel, funneled through a different channel, if anything.
And I think that people like Blumenthal and Jackson Hinkle and others, I think they'd love for you to think this is an Israel operation to divide the right and left because this came from the left. Anyway, I just saw that. I saw some of these things. It seemed to be coordinated. And
Stacia 0927 sent $10 on Rumble. Here's a few shekels to get over the goal.
Stacia, thank you. I just realized we're 2.5 hours in. No wonder my back's hurting so bad. I'm going to need to go to the chiropractor right after this, immediately. Back's been messed up still, even though I've been stretching. Thanks for those tutorials, by the way. I've been stretching and got a massage last night, and it's still locked up. I need a bacchiotomy. Need a chiropractor. But we're close to the goal, only 47 away from the goal. We'll probably go 3 hours today.
Every account I tapped on, it was all communists, all ACP, hammer and sickle and bio. They're all subscribed to this communist group. That's just what they are. I normally don't like to talk about communists. I think that's retarded. But that's what they are. They call themselves MAGA communists, the American.
Dude, this comment, Fly Eli says, if this was really pulled off by one crazy liberal, things like this would be happening on the regular. There's a lot of crazy liberals. We saw how many of them, how normal it was amongst liberals to think this was a good thing and celebrate it. They're whipped up into a frenzy that Charlie Kirk is a white supremacist Nazi spreading hate. This guy who, by the way, now just out, alleged Charlie Kirk assassin, played furry porn video games, was dating a transsexual furry, and was trying to, in a romantic gesture, trying to save his partner from the hate. They have access to guns. Guns are easy to get. There's a bunch of crazy violent leftists out there. It's inevitable that this stuff is going to happen. And when it does happen, Israel is going to take advantage of it to the fullest extent that they can. And when it does happen, Russia and foreign adversaries are going to work as hard as they can to use it to destabilize and demoralize and cause more fracturing of America. That's just the reality. That's all I know.
Communist Party, that's what they call themselves. So anyway, I think the Israel thing is totally falling apart. And the reason it's falling apart is because Charlie Kirk was pro-Israel. You know it. I know it. We all know it. It's been a week. We can be a little bit more candid now. Charlie Kirk was pro-Israel until the day that he died.
Nick destroys Max Blumenthal, Jackson Hinkle, and Candace Owens. This is the funniest one.
Left-wing. The shamelessness. Her and Max Blumenthal, too. And Max Blumenthal, look at that guy's face and tell me that's an honest broker. Max Blumenthal is a left-wing Jew, and he is like this with Russia.
And he was just on video recently saying his greatest threat is basically like white Americans, white nationalist Americans. And he associates this with a lot of Christians. But like many left-wing anti-Zionists, they spin it that, oh, Zionism isn't Judaism, and it's actually just the Christian Zionist fault. They're backing that. They're controlling. I don't know if he says that America controls Israel. He might not say that. But you know what I'm saying. We talk about it all the time. The left-wing opposition to Zionist power still finds a way to somehow implicate and to place the blame on like white people or white settler colonialism. Is what they do.
Look at that guy's ghoulish, pale face, this nebbish.
JD Vance sent $45.
Yo. And we broke the goal. Thank you, JD Vance. JD Vance coming up big. Not sure about the name.
They're nice.
JD Vance.
That's awesome. Yeah, baby.
Thank y'all. Come again.
Thank you so much, guys. You're amazing. Max Blumenthal, Gray Zone, the top guy. Remember Ben Norton? He was one of the top writers at Gray Zone. He left and started Multipolarista. Max Blumenthal was just at the Russia Dugin conference as well. A lot of stuff out there, a lot of rumors and accusations about him being a Russian propagandist working for Russia for years. This is not something I came up with. So he also did an attack on Nick. I'm not saying everything Max Blumenthal has ever said is wrong. He's had some good, legitimate criticism of Israel, but just giving you all the context that I can here. I think it was the Gray Zone. Max Blumenthal also attacked Nick, called Nick a Fed. So there's some bad blood here. Yes, again, Blumenthal, it goes without saying, he is Jewish also.
Truth sent $5 on Rumble. At Truth T.
Thank you, Truth T.
Pale face, this nebbish. Look at that guy's ghoulish, pale face, this nebbish, and tell me that's an honest broker. These two, you can keep them. Jackson Hinkle, he can't even tell you what communism is. He's this big. Max Blumenthal's a left-wing Jew Russia shill, and Candace Owens is as dumb as they come. Trust me, she makes the stereotype seem true. If Ben Shapiro didn't scoop her up, you'd see her arguing with the register at Kmart. You'd see her fighting over the receipt at Kmart. She'd have a purse full of frozen steaks. Shoplifting. You can keep them. You can keep all three of them. You can keep all three of them. All these Russia shills, left-wing Jew Blumenthal, left-wing midget Jackson Hinkle, who's dumb as a fucking rock, and Candace Owens, the living, walking stereotype. Look at how she talked 10, 15 years ago. She was suing people for racism. If the Jews, and it's funny about her, the Jews wrote the script for her and they made her a star. Now that she don't have the Jews writing the script for her, now she sounds exactly like her sisters. Now she sounds like a regular sister fighting with the TSA. You can keep them. We're good. The high IQ anti-Semites are seceding from the Russia shills, the low IQ anti-Semites, the dummies.
Okay, well, guess what, Nick? Complaining about Jews killing Jesus is playing right into their hands. Okay, we're trying to get rid of the low IQ anti-Semitism, the Jewish anti-Semitism that's complaining about Jewish messiahs.
The people that say it's not the Jews, it's Israel, it's not Israel, it's Netanyahu, you can keep them. We're good.
And now, I think this is the last one from Nick. Jackson Hinkle, Hassan Piker, Destiny, they're going to jail forever, he says.
Jackson Hinkle, you're going to jail, little man. Jackson Hinkle, you're going to jail. You're going to prison. You are going to jail. I can't wait until they put Jackson Hinkle under the jail, dude. Do they even make a cell that small? They're going to have to get the cell for animals. They're going to have to get the cell for midgets and women to put Jackson Hinkle away. Jackson Hinkle, Hassan, Destiny, you're going to jail. I don't know how to tell you this, but you're going to prison forever. Hassan is being deported. Destiny and Jackson Hinkle are being imprisoned forever. The world will be a better place.
Born Aryan sent $30.
Jackson Hinkle.
Oh, I thought that was mine. I thought I got a dono. Tricked me there. You guys. Okay. Candace. I know, it's funny, Nick calling Jackson Hinkle small when Nick's like 5'6" or something. He's a little pipsqueak too. Mike Flynn, General Mike Flynn, also for years been accused of being a Russian agent. He sat at the table with Putin for an RT event as well. Sharing Jackson Hinkle and his every Israeli connection to Charlie Kirk's assassination being promoted by General Mike Flynn, tagging TPUSA and Joe Rogan and Alex Jones and Pam Bondi. Okay, I think we played that one. You make us look like idiots. Okay, he's saying that they're dude, is he watching See Through It All? I haven't seen See Through It All today, but See Through It All did a big whole tweet that got a lot of likes. Nick may have seen it where he said, "This is like the boy crying wolf," and that you're undermining legitimate criticism.
It's because like the boy who cried wolf, and you blame them for everything, and literally everything is just Jew, Israel. It does make us look like idiots. It does make us look unserious. It does.
Hey, blaming Jews for killing God does the same thing, Nick. Get the message. Get the message. It's not going to work. It was God's plan. It was the prophecies. It had to happen. You wouldn't be saved without it. Okay? Look in the mirror. Apply some of this same new epiphany you had about the low IQ anti-Semitism and get serious. And stop the Christ is King grift. The Jews killed Jesus grift.
Make it look like we actually don't have arguments, because Israel is behind a lot of things. They're not behind literally everything that happens. You can blame them for a lot. You can't blame them for literally everything that takes place on earth. And if you do, with no evidence...
No. Blaming them for killing the creator of the universe, and having that be your central argument is not going to cut it.
And then you backpedal, then you just look like an idiot. And then you just look like a crank and a kook. And how can anybody take us seriously when Israel is behind something? And here's the damage that's being done. I'm going to be very specific about this. This is not me expressing my personal problems with Candace Owens, although it may come across that way. Let me be very specific. In the background of everything that is happening right now with Charlie Kirk, Israel is rolling tanks through Gaza City. Everybody took their eye off the ball, and while we're talking about Charlie Kirk, and rightfully so, but while we are distracted, Israel is rolling tanks through...
Okay, we're not going to play this full clip, but I just saw this one. This is a big influencer, the TikToker guy Christensen, 100,000 followers. He says Nick Fuentes has gone federal. He wants to put you in the Palantir database.
Yeah, you better believe you're going to lose your social media. You better believe you're losing your job. You better believe you're going in a database. And as long as we are in power, we will make sure that you are penalized for that in society.
Dude, they're turning all of that on the quote-unquote anti-Semites. Nick, you have to know
That's
this.
what winning looks like. There's no substitute for victory. What do you think winning looks like? Yeah, you better...
Dude, when the Zionists say they're going after the radical left, they're going after anybody that's anti-Zionist. Let's get real. Okay, now here's Jackson Hinkle's side of the argument here.
They're going to try to ethnically cleanse God.
Charlie denied the request because he was so offended by what Israel was doing.
I gotta be careful the way I say this. They're going to try to ethnically cleanse Gaza.
You are covering up for the Jews. You cannot name the Jew.
Here he is with one of the biggest Jewish Zionists in America, Laura Loomer.
And that was me literally saying Nick Fuentes should debate the ACP guys.
Pick up the radio. The radio explodes. And then they're like, got him again.
Oz, you can't name the Jew, you're a pussy boy. Okay, here you have Zionist Jews murdering innocent people, and he's mocking it and making a joke out of it and making fun of it.
About the Israel angle. Frankly, on its face, seems ridiculous.
Some of these bastards...
This edit is so fire. Isn't this edit fire? Dude, the beat's dropping.
Even try to create hoaxes invoking our party's name. That community attempted to exploit this incident.
Dude, this is communist propaganda right here, to the T.
To get even with us because their pussy leader won't debate them, because they fear our messaging, because I will debate Nick Fuentes and destroy him.
So I guess that's the side that's saying Israel did it, and we need to have a communist revolution in America. Leftists make great bait. Dark Fuentes. Here, Sithu Radal's been clipping up this Haas guy. Listen to what they do.
And whoever's engaging.
Listen to the trick. Here's the communist trick. Here's the Russian controlled op talking point trick.
It should be emphasized that the conflation of Judaism with Zionism is a form of Zionist propaganda.
See, saying that this is a Judaism conspiracy, that the return of Israel and fulfilling prophecies and the religion is Judaism. If saying Zionism has anything to do with Judaism, then you're a Jew. You're a Zionist talking point. This is the communist cover-up. This is the controlled opposition. Zionism bad, but Judaism good. And if you're anti-Judaism, well, then you're anti-Semitic. Haas is just another rich kid LARPing. I don't know much about him.
And whoever's engaging in it is engaging in Hasbara, if I'm saying it right.
Hasbara.
You're engaging in propaganda for the Zionist entity. It should be emphasized that.
So criticizing Judaism means you're Hasbara propaganda. Saying that Zionism is the political arm of Judaism, Zion, returning to Zion, having a state to Zion. No, that's got nothing to do with Judaism. Cut the bullshit. Who falls for this? Zionism is Judaism. And the communists say no, they'll call you a Jew if you say that.
The conflation of Judaism with Zionism is a form of Zionist propaganda. And whoever's engaging in it is engaging in Hasbara, if I'm saying it right. You're engaging in propaganda for the Zionist entity. It should be emphasized.
Just noticing that Zionism and Judaism and rebuilding the temple and fulfilling their prophecies and having a Messiah, criticizing that is Judaism, and you're a bad person. And you're working for the Jews. If oppose Judaism and you're working for the Jews as a Hasbara agent. Bullshit. Bullshit. And they all do this.
Sit on a throne of lies.
They all do this. All the same.
$5. My cab driver was red-pilled on the cashless agenda being pushed and how Zionism is a threat. But I knew in my mind this guy is probably a Christ. Sadly, he's one of them that thinks Jews that are influential worship Satan. I recommend you to him.
Okay, I'll check out that recommendation. Thank you. Sally's one of the things Jews influence. Yeah. Worshipping Satan is another one that's missing the mark. But we've been doing the whole Zionism isn't Judaism thing forever. This is the communist talking point. They all regurgitate it over and over and over again. It's bullshit. What's this?
Zornderidum sent $5. Nick is a willing of Zion, sitting or unwitting. Now he is pushing the crackdown on the so-called crazy left. And thus, the real agenda is revealed.
I mean, who doesn't want to see a crackdown on the crazy left, though? They are celebrating political violence. And not because they thought Charlie Kirk was a white supremacist Nazi. They want to see political violence. Like, Nick had a crazy leftist show up at his doorstep. They're using the righteous anger people have against the left, and they're going to use it to their advantage and ultimately crack down opposition to Jews and Zionism. Because the communist Zionist dialectic is controlled. Both sides controlled. The framework of it is controlled. Matt Gaetz says, I'm just going to leave this here. Mark Levin wrote in June 2025 about Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk warns against war with Iran. Mark Levin wrote, the Romans and Persians are gone, Charlie. The Jews are still, and Edom's going to be gone too. That just reminds me, Charlie Kirk said he compared the West giving up their birthright to Esau. He's revealing too much about the Edom plot. Also, when the left is in power, they try to crack down on all of us. They want mass censorship and cancel culture when they're in power. I don't want these lunatic leftists. I mean, our options are like the crazy anti-white, anti-American, communist, revolutionary, diversity, trans, all of the worst things. And then the other side is like Jew-worshipping Zionist. Those are our two options. The Romans and Persians are gone, Charlie. The Jews are still here. How do you explain that? Huh? God, chosen, Bible. And Israel has defeated the Iranian military. Did it in 2 days. Come back home, Charlie. Reject the kooks, my friend.
Jen sent $20.
Thank you, Jen. Jen. Thank you. Never seen one from Jen before, but I appreciate that. It is true, though. It appears Charlie was friendly with Tucker, and it's almost like I could see the logic that the Jews could have feared Charlie leaving them and with the kooks and with the Tuckers and the Dave Smiths And the Candaces, I don't think he was going the way of Candace, though, but still. Doesn't mean that they took him out. Not without proof. Clint Russell, I believe he's another big Putin shill as well. And he was a Trump shill, getting Trump back in. He says for 26,000 likes, as of now, so the Tim Pool, Luke Radowski guy is pushing this also. As of now, he's fully in the Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens camp. I don't believe for a second that they would be making this up. I didn't say they're making anything up either. What I didn't say Tucker was Candace making some stuff up. Tucker being mad about Netanyahu exploiting and not giving the full truth. I get that, but Candace is saying she knows that Netanyahu misrepresented the letter and she hasn't showed us the letter. So as far as I'm concerned, she is, until she shows the proof, she is making it up. I don't believe for a second they would make this up. The reputational damage would be catastrophic. The receipts are coming, and the TPUSA donors are likely hiring a PR firm to deal with the fallout. Probably. I wouldn't doubt that. Max Blumenthal actually shares Marjorie Taylor Greene text message. Charlie said, you should speak at AmFest. Would you want to also do a debate about APEC, etc.? Not with me, no pressure. We'll do whatever you want. Charlie is all about debates, though. His whole shtick is he has the conversations. He has the debate. Him having a debate where he thinks Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to make a fool of herself and his Zionist friend is going to win does not mean he's on the side, he's turned against Israel. You guys get that, right? Blumenthal writes, Charlie Kirk recently invited the leading GOP critic of Israel in Congress to debate AIPAC, meaning to argue that the Israel lobby main tentacle in Washington should be registered as a foreign agent representing a genocidal regime. You think they killed him because he hosted a debate with the kooky Christian Marjorie Taylor Greene? Mark Levin writes, a warning to the bigots. We're on to you. A radical leftist shot and murdered Charlie Kirk, yet the isolationists and anti-Semites are blaming Israel and the Jews. They're the ones that are going to weaponize and benefit from this. With the victimhood and with the anti-Semitism crackdown. He says a radical leftist shot and murdered Charlie Kirk, yet the isolationists and anti-Semites are blaming Israel and the Jews. The abuse and exploitation of his dear friend Charlie this way is disgusting and unconscionable. He says he's convinced these lowlifes are now mouthpieces for the Marxist Islamicists. They sound like them, they agree with them, and some are funded by them. We Americans and constitutional conservatives want nothing to do with these repulsive bigots, whether they're in or out of office, period, 6,000. Isn't Mark Levin like Homeland Security nominated by Trump? Him and all his Zionist friends, this is going to be the narrative. They're the victims. They get to discredit the Charlie Kirk truthers as insensitive foreign agents, and they come out on top. This is how this is going to play out. Well, mark my words. Bookmark it. See how what I said years ago has all come about? I'm going to be right about this too. Michael Savage, another Zionist Jew, he's talking about it as well.
Resisting doing a
They're all on the offensive
Welcome
about
to the
this.
Savage Nation. It's very late at night. I've been resisting doing a broadcast today. I started in my mind to write 3 of them. But this
he talks too slow.
Then a black. If that was true, how long do you think Candace Owens would be breathing? If Netanyahu and Mossad is so all-powerful and so demonic that they could kill people in Lebanon with exploding pagers, they can kill people in Iran who develop nuclear weapons, but they can't get to Candace Owens, some loser from Nowhereville. some Palookaville nobody who dropped out of college, who has no degrees and claims she has 2 degrees. Yes.
Yeah. Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens, they're such a threat, but then they're not harmed, and they take out their top guy.
Garrett sent $5.
Genius
How's
chess.
this for a schizo take? They made Charlie wear a freedom shirt for a shooting because it has the word Edom in it. Fall of freedom in Edom.
Oh, I guess I'm a schizo because I saw that. I saw a zoom in, and it was just said Edom with the thing right on that. I definitely saw that. So I guess I had my tinfoil hat on as well. Right, chat. Ultimately, this is just going to be used to crack down on anti-Abrahamism.
$10. Thanks for keeping a cool head through this madness, Adam. Can't wait to read the book. Much love to you and the family.
Thank you so much, Jesus Bryce. The book is going to be amazing. You're going to love it. Can't wait for you all to get it.
That matters. Now, I'm going to tell you something. We had enough of Al Sharpton. We had enough of, who was that preacher? Well, I don't even see if he's around anymore. The black national liberal Jews killed Carlson anyway. Who the made him God Almighty on a pedestal? You, Tucker. Stop with the Jew hatred, Tucker. You're with your bow tie. You're a liberal. You're a liberal while I was crapping conservative bricks. You schmuck, you.
You schmuck.
Jews killed outside synagogues, you and that's all I have to say. All of you anti-Semitic bastards. And if you don't like it, it's too bad. And I am glad. I am glad.
Can you not feel they've already been kvetching about shutting down anti-Semitism like more than ever? And this is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back, I think. They're using this as the pretext for the big crackdown. That's probably why Netanyahu's addressing it.
I'm glad that you finally heard me. No, Jews didn't get Mr. Savage. Stop it, you stupid lowlife Nazi.
He is Jewish.
No one got Mr. Savage.
The Jews got to Savage. The Jews got to Ben Shapiro.
Mr. Savage understands reality. Mr. Savage is a Jew. Mr. Savage is a true conservative Jew, as are 30% of Jews in America.
Candace is like,
Jew, guilty, you're Jew, doesn't matter.
Now, what is Shmuley's daughter? What is our girl Shmuley's daughter? The Aryan Jewess. So I joked about her last time. Look at how they're raising so much attention about this because it plays into the whole dynamic of the anti-Semite versus the persecuted Jew. Listen to her analysis of this. I've already said she gets it. She gets what's going on. I see the game being played here. And time and time again, the Jews come out on top on this.
I don't think any of us are truly comprehending how dangerous and how sick it is that within 24 hours of Charlie Kirk being assassinated in public, the man in the eye of the storm, the world's biggest suspect, actually the person being accused of murder is Benjamin Netanyahu. My mind cannot wrap itself around that fact that Charlie Kirk was being threatened for years by leftists. Charlie Kirk was extremely critical of Islam. Charlie Kirk loved Israel, loved the Jewish people, spoke up for the Jews consistently.
Allah may have sent $5. He wasn't turning. He was a sacrifice to redirect the energy of the angry whites away from the nonsense, send it towards trannies cummies. It also
on the day that Charlie Kirk was killed.
Sorry, it wouldn't let me pause.
That's what happened. I said, it's not just sadness that Charlie is dead now. It's that I feel that there is darkness coming our way. I feel like his murder was symbolic. And I was right. I was right. The thing that I don't understand is why are conservative podcasters and influencers discussing this wicked woman, Candace Owens?
This is Shmuley's daughter.
Her theory, her conspiracy theory, which is like from the medieval times. Why are they discussing it like it's something credible? Like it has any kind of credibility, like it's justified or validated in any way. I just listened to Megyn Kelly, who I love Megyn. I'm her biggest fan. I listen to her every day like clockwork. She had like a 15-minute discussion with her guests on her show, like discussing the details. Like, yeah, Charlie really was angry. He was on my show saying that Jews were calling him anti-Semites. By the way, I think those Jews were wrong. I spoke up at the time. I said, Charlie's not an anti-Semite. This is insane. But that doesn't mean Bibi Netanyahu killed Charlie Kirk. And Megyn Kelly is talking about it like, oh, let's discuss whether like this is something credible that Candace said. Patrick Bet-David did the same thing. I just listened to his podcast. These people, we need their voices of clarity and sanity, and they're discussing Candace as if like they're afraid of her. And I thought to myself, are they scared of her? Like, what is it about this woman? Why are people afraid of her? It's not that they're scared of her. It's that people hate Jews so much right now. I mean, the general public. They hate Jews so much right now that if you don't hate the Jews as well, you will lose your crowd. And anyone who is not calling out Candace Owens' disgusting conspiracy theory as disgusting, because it is, it's a form of cowardice. They're being cowardly because they don't want to lose followers.
Activate the Noahhide defenders.
Because this is endangering Jewish life. And everyone's like, oh, the Jews are always so paranoid. I am telling you right now, this is endangering Jewish life. I know it is for a fact. After Charlie was killed, everyone on the right said, we want unity, we want sanity, we want clarity, we want like to feel close to each other. It lasted an hour before Candace Owens started blaming the Jews. And people are not calling it out as insane. It's insane. It's insane.
Guys, when I said she gets it, I was referring to the Christian-Jewish dynamic, where she gets to play the victim and say, oh, it's medieval Christian anti-Semitism blaming us for killing God. That's what I mean she gets, that dynamic. Because we've covered clips of her in the past. And she hammers those points, and they draw attention to that, and they highlight that because it works. Because they come out on top every single time on that one. Okay. That is the context of her getting it. That's what I mean. Here's another one. See? Maybe this one will be better.
Pit of hell.
You know, I think Charlie was definitely on the brink of changing some of his perspectives. And I can tell you factually, Charlie was praying the rosary. Charlie was going to mass. Typically, when those steps start taking place, you stop referring to yourself, as I did, as a Judeo-Christian. You know, Bibi was out there doing the absolute most to make sure that Charlie was basically remembered as, I would argue.
Yeah, Charlie was so drastically turning anti-Judeo-Christian, which is retarded because all Christians are Judeo. It comes from Judaism. They're worshiping the king of Judah, the King David. And we played the clip of Charlie. He said he's got issues with Catholicism. So again, what is the proof of this? Is this another lie from Candace?
You like a Jew.
Guys, how many times have I told you that Candace Owens is a medieval Catholic Jew hater? There were 2 golden rules to medieval Catholic.
Candace hands this girl easy W's. This is what happens. Okay? They're the perfect opposition that just hands them W's, easy W's.
Jew hatred. Number 1, if something terrible happens, the Jews are always behind it. And number 2, you don't need any proof to show that the Jews were behind it. Your accusation is the proof. The sick thing here is not just that Candace is trying to pin the assassination of Charlie Kirk on the Jews, as always, right? Because we're demonic and satanic. But the sick thing also is that she's trying to show that Charlie Kirk would have believed this too, right? He was changing, guys. If only he had lived a little bit longer, he would have become a Catholic, just like me. He didn't want to be associated with the Jews. She's trying to change Charlie's legacy posthumously.
Charlie was so anti-Judeo-Christian that he was just coming out with a book about how all the Christians should follow the Sabbath. That's anti-Judeo, right? You know, the last time I talked to Charlie, he told me that he was really enjoying Mein Kampf. Right, guys? Right? That's what he told me. Hey, last time I talked to Charlie, he's like, hey, Adam, I think I'm getting green-pilled. Pretty sure Jesus is fake and Jewish, and prophecy is religious mind control. That's what Charlie told me.
Amazing thing is, and this is good news, guys, surprisingly, we Jews used to have to suffer through these lies alone.
Israel killed Charlie because he was about to expose the Jesus deception. That's what he told me. But I'm not saying Israel did it, but he was about to expose the Jesus deception.
But today, the world is not letting Candace lie.
Yeah.
Like you saw in the beginning of this video, Candace Owens was trying to convince everyone that Charlie Kirk was about to become a Catholic. And Charlie Kirk's pastor, Rob McCoy, just put out a message basically saying that Candace is a really bad person and that she's using Charlie's murder for her own sake. I only wish at this tragic time of mourning, she would be the friend to Charlie that he was to her. He would never have treated Candace or her family in such a way had, God forbid, this tragedy been hers. Wicked Candace also claims that over the summer in the Hamptons, a Jewish billionaire named Bill Ackman staged a kind of
Okay, we don't need the whole breakdown.
Anti-Semitism.
Okay, this one.
With Bill, said he did not defend her, but he called her anti-Semitism demonic and from the pit of hell.
Candace Owens, and I'm a big fan of you. I was a big fan of her, but she's obviously been going down this anti-Semitic bent. There is a corner of the internet of people that want to point and blame the Jews for all their problems. Everybody, this is demonic and it's from the pit of hell.
Charlie Kirk.
So the Jew asked him about Candace Owens' anti-Semitism, and he called it demonic and from the pit of hell. Sounds like he was about to join her to me. Sounds like he was right on the verge to turning against Israel and becoming a based Catholic. She's such a bullshitter, dude. She really is.
Kirk told the world to reject anti-Semitism, and today we're seeing that people are actually doing it.
Ted Cruz's attacks Tucker Carlson. Okay, let's see what John says about this.
We also have Ted Cruz attacking Tucker Carlson and making up stuff Carlson never said, simply because Charlie Kirk told Carlson that he was really concerned about Israel's undue influence in the White House and more. And Kirk had said that on television. And, I was thinking back to my conversations with Kirk, a couple of them last month, where he was thanking me for really pushing the administration to release whatever Epstein stuff they have, and even if it's full of bull, and then he thought I was dead on and invited me to some of their events again and asking how he could support us and keep us on the air. And I did bring up, all the attacks on him and the Israel stuff, and he said, yeah, it's just crazy. I've been a big supporter of Israel, but when you disagree with things that an administration's doing over there, you get demonized. It's out of control. It only makes it worse, and then the issue sucks all the oxygen out of the room. I just want to get young people to vote Republican and save the country. But he thought, I think I think you've been really balanced on it. And that was, folks at the White House really want to thank you. That was basically it. So, Kirk was all over the place. I can play you 50 clips of him saying this. And then Ted Cruz is like, well, we got Tucker putting, anti-Semitic words in the mouth of dead Charlie Kirk, and it's made up. Well, if anybody is literally sucking on the hind tit of Benjamin Netanyahu, it is Ted Cruz. And look, I like Ted on domestic issues.
We saw this, really didn't we?
For no reason. He knows who you are. That was the whole point of deplatforming. Look, Lee told me. That's where we're at now. And I'm on Tucker's show coming up here soon, and I'll leave it at that. And then he's going to be on too, so I'll leave it at that.
Oh, we're getting more Tucker and Jones to talk about this. Okay, now here's the girls' posts, and I'll be honest. I'm saying, I'm not convinced that it's any big grand conspiracies, but I do admit that these alleged text messages do seem pretty sus. To be honest, I do think it's sus. Is everybody in agreement? Does anybody see no issue at all with the messages with this guy and his trans lover? Listen to this.
So everyone knows that these text messages are insanely fake, right? No one refers to their car as a vehicle unless you're in law enforcement. Nobody says squad car. You would just say, oh my God, I just saw a cop. And why would Robinson be telling his roommate, who he's supposedly in a relationship, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA? The person you're in a relationship would already know that. No 22-year-old refers to their parent as my old man.
And also, what 22-year-old is trying to get away with a high-profile murder and then gets right on his phone and starts sending text messages with every piece of incriminating information on it? That's the biggest thing that I find sus. And then he goes, oh, delete this, as if that means the police can't find it. It's stupid.
Nobody would say, I worry about Prince. I don't know if it had a serial number. And he writes out very clearly a timeline. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits, didn't have the time to bring it with me. I might have to abandon it. I left the rifle wrapped in a towel. Nobody would write step by step. And when he talks about the engravings, he says, mostly a big meme. Young people don't talk like that. Elon Musk talks like that when he's trying to be funny. When he's like, I am become meme. This is so...
That is how they talk, you
Sober
think,
Jeff Hardy sent
Revolver?
$5 on Rumble. Candace isn't Judeo-Christian anymore. She just worships King of the Jews and believes everything they wrote down 2,000 years ago. It's every Jew guilty, but not Mu Jesus, of course.
Yeah. Charlie was just about to become a based anti-Judeo-Christian. Meanwhile, they're worshiping the King of Judah that was circumcised and the Jewish Messiah. He's from Utah. That explains it. The best explanation that would explain it is that they were trying to do a scripted thing to exonerate his friend or his lover. But even then, it seems like it does seem fake to me. This part does seem fake.
Obviously, Gen X law enforcement trying to create a narrative. You gotta read these texts for yourself because nobody talks like this. Nobody texts like this, and no young person uses the words vehicle, drop point. He talks about the other suspect that they grabbed some crazy old dude in similar clothing, interrogated someone. How would he even know that? He's like stopping to look at the news at who they're grabbing. Why would he bother with all of those details? He would just be like, oh my God, they grabbed someone else. Like when you're close with someone and you're texting, you don't write out all of your thoughts like that. You definitely don't write in paragraphs, complete sentences. This
What?
is just...
Hold on. I don't know about that. That's a little bit of a stretch. Who writes in complete sentences? Some people do talk like this. Cop talk. Nerdy RPG gamers. Yeah, he wanted to exonerate his boyfriend. That's what I'm saying. That might be the explanation. He was trying to exonerate, but I just, if he's really trying to not get caught, I don't know who this girl is. I've never, CC on the scene. I've never heard of her. I just saw this, and it was some of the same thoughts I had.
way too convenient.
Vehicle? Would he not say vehicle? I saw a cop car. Squad car. Does a 22-year-old gay kid call a police car a squad car? He also says drop point. And it's weird how it's like they got the engravings, they got where he left the thing, they got the other guy, him not knowing the other guy, the supposed decoy. Like every little bit that they could want is in these text messages. I think they're claiming that he also confessed to it on Discord also. Yeah, who writes in complete sentences? I don't know. Autists with a 4.0 GPA. Good point, Zornder Edom. Right. Anyway, we'll see on that. Jimmy Kimmel has been fired for this.
Adult grieves the murder of someone. We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving on Friday.
What a lie to say the shooter was one of them. Yeah, he was one of Charlie Kirk's guys. That's why he killed him. Makes perfect sense.
The White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House.
Neo-Nazi furry lover, right.
You know, for about 150 years, and it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old... We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize...
So, fired over that? I think the head of the FCC was celebrating this. I mean, honestly, it's not the craziest thing. It's bullshit that he says that he was one of them. But, I mean, I'll even agree. Not that I'm a fan of Kimmel at all, but it is kind of wild that that got him not fired apparently, but like indefinitely on hiatus, and they're doubting that he's going to come back. And it could just be because he's got bad ratings and he's really expensive. They got rid of the other late night show too, the Colbert Report, right? For getting bad ratings and being expensive. So maybe this was their excuse to cancel him, because that wasn't that bad of a comment. Anyway, Trump's comments on him getting fired. He hates all these late
Jimmy
night
Kimmel
talk
was
shows.
fired because he had bad ratings more than anything else, and he said a horrible thing about a great gentleman known as Charlie Kirk. And Jimmy Kimmel is not a talented person. He had very bad ratings, and they should have fired him a long time ago. So, you can call that free speech or not. He was fired for lack of talent. Well, Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he had bad ratings more than anything else.
Yeah, good one. Like the WNBA, bad ratings and cost a lot. The Jew slop is losing. I know. TikTok and social media and the internet and Netflix is winning. Nobody's watching. Nobody has cable TV anymore, besides boomers that are all dying off. Yeah, as if Trump is Trump is talented. Trump is who has made you laugh more? Jimmy Kimmel or Donald Trump? Who's funnier? Charlie Kirk winning W from the grave says Jimmy Kimmel isn't funny. There's the Edom shirt. Oops, shit. Hold on. About to get a freaking virus. Clicking on stupid shirts. Anyimage.io. Yeah, I might have just downloaded a virus. Bad click there. Clicked on this shady link. Fuck. Can you get a virus just by doing that? Clicking on a site like that? Whatever, I got protection. Whoo! Sweating, getting hot. 3 hours and 15 minutes. We smashed the goal. Can we get to 400? And the last few clips here. So here's the last news we're going to cover today. Erica Kirk has been appointed as the new CEO and chair of the board of Turning Point. Brilliant decision, they say. She is pretty. She was a Miss Arizona.
We have
beauty pageant winner. And she was a tomboy that played basketball too as a kid.
My wife joins us, Erica Kirk,
Hi,
the beautiful,
everyone.
legendary Erica.
I love you so much.
I love you.
You're my best friend.
Welcome.
Senate just confirmed 48 of Trump's nominees all at once.
To the Charlie Kirk Show. We have asked the audience for questions. You pick one.
Who is more conservative and why?
Erica.
Yes.
By far. Not even close. I am a moderate compared to Erica.
Andrew always jokes that once you got married to me, you got more based.
That's true. That is true. No, Erica is very conservative. Do you think having kids made you more conservative?
100%. Which I didn't think was possible. But 100%. Absolutely.
And do you
and
think-
a better wife.
Mm-hmm. My wife joins us, Erica Kirk,
Hi,
the beautiful,
everyone.
legendary Erica.
So taking over, more conservative than Charlie. Let's see. I like this. Hellenist shares, this is why Christianity must be outlawed. She openly admits she hates the world, swallowed the Jewish poison that Gentiles who worship the God of Israel go to heaven, and now she's poisoning the public well with that same poison. Christ is the enemy of Europe. Ashley Hayes, 48,000 followers, says she's done with this world, detached, disconnected, and ready to go home, ready to be raptured away.
Anything that this world is, I do not care about anything that this world has to.
This is the Christian mindset. This is why Christianity, the Christ brain, mind virus, is a problem.
All I'm going to say, y'all, is that I'm done with this world. I am wholeheartedly with every fiber of my being, I am done here.
Fake lips.
I am checked out. I am disconnected. I am detached.
Fake lip Christian.
About anything that this world is. I do not care about anything that this world has to offer. If you try to talk to me about a celebrity, what a celebrity did, about a new movie coming out, about a new restaurant, I do not care. All I care about is if you know Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior. And I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but in the last week,
she doesn't care about anything. All that matters is Yeshua HaMashiach. This is the problem with Christianity. You don't care about saving your countries. You don't care about protecting. You care about going to heaven and how worshiping the King of the Jews the best you can. Such a disgusting virus, right? I don't know why that's not playing. Are we frozen or something?
And I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but in the last week, I've been almost antsy, and I haven't been able to put my finger on it until today.
Antsy to go to heaven.
Kind of just uncomfortable. And I've been walking around. I've had trouble recording videos until I sat down and I realized I'm uncomfortable being here because my spirit, when I mean I'm fully checked out, I am fully checked out. I am ready to go home to heaven. And I know that it's my spirit.
They call us nihilists. Pray harder. This is such virtue signaling. Like, I'm just so fed up. I'm just ready for Jesus to come. I'm just ready for Armageddon. I'm just ready to go to heaven. I'm just ready to go worship Jesus forever in heaven. She's like,
help me, Jesus! Help me, Jewish God!
My spirit is ready because I believe that the true followers, those who are truly filled with the Holy Spirit, those who are truly saved, are being called home. I think in
Rapture.
These last seconds,
Rapture ready.
are being called home. And that's why so many of us are just checked out from this world because we know that our bridegroom is coming for his bride.
Bridegroom, ready to be swept away to heaven. Dude, it's sad. I'm making fun of it, but it's sad. Yeah, it's like suicidal Christian ready to go to heaven, ready to be raptured. They're not trying to save things here. They're just, Jesus is gonna, don't worry, trust the plan. Jesus is gonna come and save me. We just got to have enough faith. We just got to bow hard enough. We got to pray hard enough. This is what it does to your mental state. Anyway, Ashley Hayes, you need to be green-pilled. You need to knock it off. I've seen some clip of her before saying something else crazy, too. Christianity's white genocide. Anyway, thank you guys so much for the support today. Huge stream. Not sure if I'll be back tomorrow. I need to get the book done, so I might take Friday off to do the book. Appreciate you all. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If I don't see you tomorrow, everybody have a nice weekend. Be safe. Like, share, subscribe, spread the message, clip the show. I appreciate you all, and I will see you guys again very soon. Take care.